Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kratom Gals, your weekly dose of real talk, real stories, and relentless advocacy. Each week, we dig into Kratom headlines because there's just so many of them for us to discuss. We react to videos that we uncover, and we question the narratives being pushed. So many times is being pushed in the wrong direction. So much misinformation and propaganda. We're here to stomp all that out because many times these things don't line up with the facts and the science. Now, this is not about hype or fear. It's about looking at what's actually being said, who's saying it, and what the evidence really shows. So, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Madeline Sklar. I'm the host of this weekly live stream series, the Kratom Gals. We've been doing this for over 2 years now, which is just amazing. It's been a fun way to just hang out on a Saturday afternoon and watch videos together and talk about it. And we appreciate those that come live and hang out in the chat with us because you can be part of the conversation, chime in, share your thoughts, and let's just keep these conversations going. It's so important. For those that don't know a lot about me, I've been consuming Kratom every day since early 2019, coming up on my 7-year anniversary. I use this for my debilitating chronic pain, but because of this plant, I feel so much better. I'm able to do so much more and do something that's very important to me, which is to still work. And I've been working for myself in the digital marketing space for 30 years as of last week. And I love that with this plant, I can continue to do so. It's just given me an amazing quality of life. And what for those that don't realize we have this new YouTube channel. I know some of y'all have been like wondering where have we been, and we lost our YouTube channel, Kratom Stories Podcast, and so this is our new one. We call it Kratom Real Talk, but this is also the home for our Kratom Stories Podcast, and it's on a short little break, on a little bit of a hiatus during this transition of building this new YouTube channel. But we got lots of amazing episodes coming up. I've been interviewing so many amazing people. I cannot wait till we get this new season of the podcast out. But you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't ever miss any of them. You can also go to our website at kratomstoriespodcast.com. There's so much information there and resources. We also have our Kratom Real Talk community at kratomrealtalk.com. It's a private community for us where we can talk about Kratom, share stories, help each other, and there's no censorship. We don't have to worry about the censorship we deal with every day on social media. Now, a quick note before we begin, this live stream is for educational purposes only. We're not giving out medical advice here. We are sharing our personal experiences in advocating for responsible use of natural kratom. Our views expressed here are our own. So let's bring up our gals who are here with us today. Hello, gals, plus special guest, Cameron,
Special guest.
known as Liberated Outcast. Some people might be going, she looks familiar. I think
Right.
we saw the video here a few weeks with her. So, Cameron, I'm so glad you're joining us.
Me too. Welcome, Cameron.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so interesting how in the YouTube feed several weeks back, I come across your video and I was so excited because as all of us know here, we constantly watch and react to videos that are so negative about kratom. And I know you know this, there's so many of them. And I come across your video and I see the title, simple and to the point. It says, "Stop blaming kratom." And I'm like, oh my God, it's a positive video. I was so excited. I'm like, I can't wait. I get to watch a positive video. There's not enough of these. And it was so good. And I'm like, ooh, this coming Saturday, which was a few weeks ago, I'm going to play this on our show. And everybody was wowed by you and your message. So I'm so thrilled you're here with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell everybody a little bit about you, because I think not everybody knows about you, and you go by the name Liberated Outcast. So tell us everything.
I do. Yeah. Liberated Outcast. I'm a holistic lifestyle advocate and holistic physician. I operate a medicine ministry full time. Really devoted to helping people connect to their bodies, to their food, to the land, and to the community, and provide education, create spaces to provide resources and education to people. I've been working with Kr8tom for almost a decade now. I have a background of severe trauma and abuse and chronic pain. I've been through a couple of windshields, lots of accidents, and I found Kr8tom in my early 20s, and I was by myself out here in the world, away from everybody and everything that I knew. I had tried a couple of different pharmaceuticals for my mental health, and they just always made things worse. And when I found Kr8tom, the leaf, that was it. It's just been go mode ever since, in a positive trajectory. I put myself through college. I started this ministry. I've been operating it full time for almost 6 years now, and we do some really cool stuff. And I am a woman of God, and I give all credit to God, but I also am very
Absolutely.
fulfilled. And the plant itself, I mean, I don't even want to think about how hard it may have been without it. I'm just blessed that I've had it.
That is so awesome. What made you decide to make I'm gonna play you know what? Let me play just a short clip of it from the beginning so people can kind of see what this is. And for those that want the link to the entire video, what I always do later on Saturday after we're done with this, our typical 2-hour marathon of watching videos and discussing it is in the YouTube description. I'll put links to everything we watched. So I'll be sure to have the link to this, but let me play a little clip of it. And then Cameron, I would love for you to share with us, like, what was your inspiration for making this video, and, just kind of fill us in on all the things. So let me start with this short clip of it. I hear somebody's got, I can hear somebody's got yeah, gotcha.
What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. I am the Liberated Outcast, and this video is very important to me. This video is going to be about Kr8tom, and I want to make something very clear right from the start, that when I speak on Kr8tom, I am speaking about the pure leaf, the herb, the plant, the medicine. All right. I am not speaking about these research chemicals like 7-OH, MIT, Feel Free, or any other type of drug that is being manufactured from this plant.
I'm gonna stop right there. Just for everybody to see, like, what we're talking about. This is an 11-minute video. You talk about so many things here, but your background, starting Kr8tom, your life, kind of like this mini life story revolving around Kr8tom. So what inspired you to make this video? And like you said, you've been using Kr8tom for quite a while, but now you're like, I'm gonna talk about this.
A couple of things. 2025 was a really tough year for me. I lost a lot of people back to back to back. And I've been on my own since I was like 10, and I've built something that's awesome, but it also can be pretty heavy when you're carrying it by yourself. And then life happens. And I had actually discovered 7-OH in the middle of last year, right around the time I lost my 16-year-old dog. A friend of mine was like, "Oh, have you heard of this new kind of Kr8tom?" And I tried it, and the truth is I liked it. At first, it was different. I felt like I was on the verge of drowning. And I never abused it. I never took more than 30 milligrams of it. And I had a plan and a thing, but I could quickly realize, oh man, I think I might, like, my eyesight started changing. I was tired all of the time. I started having these weird symptoms arise. So I made a plan to come off of it, and I did really easily. It's so much of it is more mental than I think a lot of people recognize. But in that time, I dove into the Reddit forums and talking to people, and I just saw so much crap being talked about Kr8tom. And then when I would mention it to people that I knew in real life, they didn't have very good things to say about it either. I've been to a few or a couple of Kr8tom bars, and that's a whole other video I'll be making soon. I got a whole soapbox for that. But at the end of the year, 2025, I took about 3.5 weeks off of work to just chill, to just be. The first day of the break was the first day I quit taking 7-OH. And when I quit the Kr8tom for a couple of days, I quit the 7-OH completely. And the experience was just nothing like what I was seeing on these forums and what people were talking about. And I just recognized how this plant was being so villainized. And I don't know what it was. I mean, it was 3.5 weeks of me not being online, not anything. And it just was kind of like God was like, hey, it's time to talk about this. And even through the 10 years that I worked with Kr8tom, hardly anybody knew, because they're just, even if you didn't know, you kind of feel this weird stigma around it, and just something shifted, like, okay, it's time to, somebody needs to speak up for this plant, especially the more I was learning about how, it's being blamed for things. It carries the potential of being at risk of being taken away from people. And it was also a big part of me liberating myself from this like shame shadow I was carrying around when there was no need for it. I wasn't abusing it. It positively impacted my life. And I got to tell you, since then, it was like the only shadow that I've ever had was like, oh, I take Kr8tom sometimes. And now I feel so good. So that was kind of it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. But you started like leaf Kr8tom or extract Kr8tom like a long time ago. And
just the leaf.
Just the leaf. So how did 7-OH come into the picture?
Just that it was around the time my dog died. And I have a friend, and maybe you could call him a psycho nut, he's just one of those that likes to experiment with stuff, and he mostly like pharmaceuticals. But anyways, we got to talk, and I love him dearly, and he that's when he said, hey Cameron, have you heard of this new Kr8tom? It's called 7-OH. And I was like, no, I haven't. And I went and got what I thought was 7-OH, but it actually wasn't with 7-OH, but then with some pseudo stuff in it. And I didn't like that. Something just didn't feel right. So then I did some research. I found a company online that had third-party tested, had the cleanest of the products that I could find. And so I ordered some from them, and it was awesome until it wasn't, like it just, again, I was having a really tough year. And so then I just kept taking it. And what I would do is just these little tablets. I would have one tablet and I would break it up throughout the day, or just take little nibbles. So I never did more than a tablet a day. And I'm glad, because when you dive in, there are people taking like 1,000 milligrams of this stuff a day and then having seizures when they're trying to come off of it. I didn't experience any of that. And then I think at first there was a part of my brain that was still just like, well, it's like Kr8tom, but then a couple of months into it, I was like, no, this isn't good. And I knew it. And then I live in Florida, and they made it a Schedule 1, and I had enough of it because I buy stuff in bulk, but as soon as I heard that, I immediately was like, good. There was no fear of like, oh, what am I going to do? I wanted to run out, and I wanted to no longer have access to it because my body was telling me that. And so yeah, and then I ended up having a conversation with my friend, like, hey man, I don't think this stuff is good. His mom actually might have been the one that introduced him to it. She was taking significant amounts, and it was strange because she also has a morphine pump inside of her. And and just a lot of the people that I was meeting that were taking it, it just was a lot of kind of negative patterns, not so great patterns that I was seeing.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing all of this. You're giving us a very interesting perspective around all of this. Do you, Twinkle and Venus, do you have any questions for Cameron? It's such an interesting story.
No, I appreciate her story because, I continue to have reservations because I love that you've told your story, Cameron, because I think, and I nibble, I reference it as a nibble, and I nibble throughout the day, but I do always keep reservations that I have to be careful and make sure that, I stay stable, not exceed, and so on. So I don't doubt that some people, even though I support both, and especially now that I do take, the 7 this last year or so, I do also recognize that people out there can get, I don't want to necessarily say into trouble with it, but find out that it's not good for them. And then I love that you were able to stop, as some people can't, and I recognize that. So I don't want people to think just because I take it, I don't recognize all these other things going on that can. So that's where my reservation is like, you never know. I mean, you never know. Might not be there yet, but I still never know. I won't know until I know. So
Right.
great story. I appreciated that.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
appreciate it too. And I think it's great that you're able to show what your experience was and to recognize that it wasn't for you. And from there,
Hmm.
take the steps to stop it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some of the side effects I really want to just verbalize because it is a newer substance and there's not a lot of science behind it or what it does. And while I was talking to some people on the internet, after I had shared my side effects, there were a couple of people that were like, "Oh, wow, I've been experiencing that and I wasn't sure." So one was definitely the eyesight. I'm still thankfully I'm a really great herbalist and know the body well that it's improving already, but my eyesight got so much worse while I was using it. But what really started to scare me towards the end was the last like 2 weeks of me using it, my face wouldn't stop tingling and twitching, and I kept like visible twitches where people I was speaking to would mention, and then the left side of my face got swollen for the last like 4 or 5 days that I was taking it, and I started to get these headaches in the back, and I'm an incredibly healthy person, ridiculously. So I was kind of, that really scared me. And then towards the end there, my cycles. Now, I will say one positive thing was through the 6 months that I was taking it, I did not have one like even cramp on my cycles. And I had a history of endometriosis and PCOS. So I really like that. I actually just finished up a cycle, and I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me that was like, darn, man, I kind of wouldn't mind having a little bit, but it is what it is. And while I believe in freedom, I believe people should be able to make their own choices. These side effects are what I'm worried about the most because we don't know what long-term consequences there might be.
Correct. We do not know that yet. That's right.
Yeah, and that is concerning with that part of it. I mean, my stance on it is, number one, I don't believe in prohibition for anything. I mean, this war on drugs has never worked. It's still not working. I lost access to my pharmaceutical opiates because of it. Not because I got in trouble, not because I abused them. I never did any of that. Doctor said I was a model patient, my pain management doctor that I went to for 9 years. But the government has come down so hard on these doctors that prescribe higher doses than what the government thinks non-doctors think should be written out. And I am a high processor. I've had the DNA test for it twice. I've done it. I got the results. I still have them. It's called a pharmacokinetic test. My doctor was smart enough to do that for his patients. It shows why he should be prescribing high doses for me, because the way my body processes them, it didn't get me high, didn't have any issues. If I didn't tell you, you'd have no idea the high amount of Oxycontin and Percocets I was taking every day. But it helped me to continue to work and function and do the things. Was it the best pain relief? No, not compared to Kratom. It hasn't been for me, but it was enough so I could still have my day-to-day life. But I don't like the idea of government deciding what's best for us when the doctors know best. And I went through that in other ways with government policy, with my healthcare, and with insurance. Lots of times with insurance dictating which pharmaceutical I should be taking, like they know better. And it's a joke. Now, here we are with 7-OH. It's not something I use. I have no need for it. My Kratom powder works amazingly well. I get my pain relief right now is a 0 for my very debilitating degenerative disc disease in my neck and back. Normally, it'd be very hard for me to sit still for more than like 15 or 20 minutes without having to, I still shift a lot. I'm just a naturally fidgety person. But I wouldn't be able to just sit like this. And I've been on here, y'all seen me on this live stream. There are times where I am sitting here the entire time, not getting up once in like 2 or 3 hours of us doing it. Not always easy. And sometimes I'm like, why did I do that? But it's because of Kratom. If I was still in pain management, I would be able to do this, but I would be suffering more. I'm good at hiding it, so you probably wouldn't even realize, but I would definitely have to stop. I'd probably turn my camera off and go stand up for a minute or move around a bit. But I just don't believe in all this overreach. And with 7-OH, while I've heard plenty of horror stories, it's so sad the people that have privately reached out to me talking about how 7-OH has ruined their life. They can't get themselves off of it, yada, yada, yada. But I've also heard so many stories of people in the pain community that have gotten amazing relief, and they're not overusing it. They're doing what a lot of us did in pain management, where we're responsible with
That's
our
right.
medications. And a lot of people, like Twinkle, I really appreciate that you felt comfortable and vulnerable enough to talk about your experience,
Mhm.
because you didn't
Thank
for a
you.
long time.
That's
But
right.
I
Yeah, the
look,
first 6 months I didn't say
well,
nothing
look,
because
I don't want people to ever feel like they're going to come here and be judged. I know there are people in the community that do a lot of that. We don't do that here. And if people don't like me for that, fine. I could care
Mhm.
less. You
Mhm.
know, if somebody on either side, and consumers, advocates, and even industry people, I mean, if you don't like my stance on letting people have the opportunity to speak, to hear their side, and let others decide for themselves, I mean, I'm not trying to be a journalist, but I feel like I've become like this journalist. I try to give everybody an opportunity to share their own truth, their own personal experience. Doesn't mean I have to agree
And that's
with
what
it.
I love about your platform is that you are allowing, and you're having on these different voices. And
Exactly.
it's not with judgment. And even if we felt a certain kind of way about a topic, you're still letting the person tell it, and that's what's important. You know what I mean? Like if we inside of us was like, no, I don't know if I agree with this or don't agree with this, but you're still allowing it to be told, and that's what I appreciate that.
Well,
And
you've
that is
really
what
educated us on this. I mean, I've never really needed 7-OH. I mean, the thing is, though, and I'll say this publicly, if there was a time where my kratom powder stopped working, I would probably try 7-OH and try to see if that would help, because I don't want to go back to the pharmaceuticals if I don't have to. I'm coming up on 7 years of not
Mhm.
taking, gabapentin, all the different narcotics,
Yeah.
muscle relaxers, lots of it every day. I tolerated it well. I had some side effects, but not super bad. But it was just part of my life, and I accepted that. I have to take something so I can have some
Yeah.
kind of quality of life. But
Absolutely.
if I can't get access to my natural leaf kratom, or it stopped working for me, I've heard plenty of people say it stops working, and that's why they go to extracts or even 7-OH. So I should be demonized because I choose to live my life and be functional and want to consume something that will help me. What is
That's
wrong with
right.
that? You know,
Right.
I
There's
just
nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
That's right.
we should all
Mhm.
be allowed to make our own choices, but but we should be informed. We should be
That's
educated,
right.
and that's a
That's
big
right.
part of doing this, is to help educate people. Because too many people say, "I consume that extract," or "I consume whatever." So, for the longest time it was extracts. That's all we heard about. Now is 7-OH, but people talking about, they don't even read the package. They don't even know what they're
Yeah.
taking. They're just
Right.
taking it. Like, don't you
Exactly.
Mhm.
want to know what you're consuming?
And so right away they're starting off over consuming because they're not reading package. And I do understand that this print is so small, but we have to always do that due diligence to find out what we're taking, or go farther than that and go research it, because that's what I did. Well, I'll do that with
Right.
anything. But even my moringa, the first time I took moringa, I did a whole background scrub on that, and it's harmless. It's just a vitamin, multivitamin. And I just ordered more today, but I'm just saying that we need to do that and know what we're taking. And
And we need the shady companies to be more accountable, and they need to stop
absolutely,
giving
yes.
7-OH product drugs
Yes.
name.
And they need to get,
It's
yes, exactly. I
ridiculous.
was just going to say that. Yep, exactly.
Like perks and dopium. Like,
That's
how
don't
on
make
earth? When
no.
I saw dopium, which is a more recent one I've come across, do you mean to tell me there's nobody at a government level, local, wherever they sell it, at a state level and national federal level, that doesn't pay attention to when a product comes on the market, and they're like, dopium does not sound, and perks does not sound like a product we should allow on the market.
Right.
You would think that.
Why does nobody talk about
Right.
that? See,
Right.
to me, it's like,
And those names are
why?
enticing to,
Absolutely.
that's where the trouble comes in. That, I agree. That should not be allowed at all. It just makes no sense. So of course I would be bothered by the manufacturers, not necessarily the product, but the manufacturers rolling it out that way. You know, it's just,
Yeah,
I don't like that.
it's crazy. We appreciate all the people here live with us. I know Lois is here and Robin. These are like OG Kratom advocates. We got to get y'all to come on sometime, and definitely come on my Kratom Stories podcast. Love to get y'all's stories. And Mike, also known as Craig, is here with us. Why don't we get to some news stories that have come out around the country this week? There's always so many of them. I'm going to play one that came out this week. I mean, y'all been hearing about the whole Ohio thing, and the Ohio Board of Pharmacy wanting to schedule all Kratom. First, it was 7-OH. They did the emergency ban on that, right? I believe is what they did last month, and now they want to just ban it all. So there's been lots of news stories. So let's watch this one.
There is an impact of Kratom on our community.
Emergency room doctor Nancy Pook says natural Kratom can have serious side effects.
Tremulousness, kind of getting goosebumps, sometimes diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. It's a real problem. And there have been deaths just from the old-fashioned Kratom leaves ground up and used in that way.
Naturally, Kratom is a plant in the same family as coffee. Kenny Bruce, the owner of the store First Choice Kratom, says it has several benefits.
It's helped people stop drinking alcohol, it helps get them off opioids. A lot of people use it for anxiety.
But those against it, including Governor Mike DeWine, say synthetic and natural forms of Kratom are dangerous.
This is nasty, nasty stuff. The so-called natural Kratom, which I think is also a huge problem as well.
Last week, the Ohio Board of Pharmacy approved a proposal banning natural Kratom. Ohio has a temporary ban on synthetic Kratom, which the board plans to make permanent.
Natural Kratom is a partial opioid agonist. None of this is tested or regulated. So heavy metals, what the product labeling actually includes.
He makes a blanket statement like this. None of this.
And he always says it's never been tested or never had any research, and natural tea has plenty.
Right. There's plenty of it out there.
He just said, yeah, he's saying natural Kratom is not tested for heavy metals and it's not regulated. That's so
Not true.
Where's this information? And look, I mean, it says Ohio Board of Pharmacy. Is he like on the pharmacy board? Who is this guy making a statement? Like, they're so misinformed, incredibly misinformed.
I would
It's
like
so
to also
frustrating.
see some proof. The first woman who said that there have been deaths from the natural leaf.
And she said
Where?
goosebumps as
Right.
one of the things, side effects, goosebumps. Who gets goosebumps from natural Kratom?
And maybe some nausea and diarrhea if you're, taking a lot of it. But
Right.
where are the deaths from the leaf?
Yeah, exactly. Some of the that's why we watch these, because some of the things that come out of these people's mouths it's just ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna keep going with this. I just couldn't believe this man is saying there's no regulation. They're not testing it for heavy metals. This is why we need federal regulation instead of this state by state or community by community, where it's just such a free for all in so many locations around the country, and the bad actors come in.
And they all need to know the science. And if they're coming out and saying that plainly that it unalives somebody, then they should have to also back that up with the proof showing that happened.
Absolutely, exactly. But this guy's just making such a generic blanket statement that's full of false information. All right, let me keep playing it.
Includes
Businesses like First Choice Kratom, which only sells natural Kratom, says the ban would hurt not only their business, but their customers too.
I mean, it would definitely hurt. We wouldn't have a business anymore. A lot of people would turn back to street drugs.
Bruce says he believes natural Kratom is safe. This is just one of the first steps to a possible natural Kratom ban. There will be public comment, more review, and a final vote that is expected to happen in early summer. In Cincinnati,
All right, so that's the latest with Ohio that's going on.
But what I don't
Yeah.
understand is, they've had to have, because we've been emailing them too, that they have to have positive stories. They have to
That's
have
right.
the science already sent to them. So they already have the information to start doing their research and knowing what their constituents actually want. So they shouldn't be, it just makes me mad, like in Connecticut, where they're just not listening.
I'd also be curious to know, like the man on the board of pharmacy for Ohio, like, do they make money off of opiates? Do they make money off of prescription drugs?
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
so, has that been affected because people are using less of them?
That's a great point. Really good point there. I don't, there's just so much misinformation that comes out. And Robin says that they actually disputed the death claims, and that was in 2016. I mean, they're always making this out like this kills all these people, and it's like, okay, so like the one where the autopsy showed the guy had a gunshot wound to the chest. Remember that one we've heard about? It's like, how is that a kratom death if he died? He had a gunshot wound to the chest.
And it's not, but they want you to believe it is. And it's similar to the COVID. I don't know if I should be saying it, but so many people pass away of other things, and then they call it a COVID death. And it's always the statistics,
Fear and
Right.
money.
to make it bigger.
Yes,
That's right. Yes.
100%. 100%. Thank you all for being here, and we got the people here from the new group BAE. What is that? Botanical. What does that one stand for? Hard to remember, like all the groups here. Can one of y'all tell us in the comments what y'all's group and the link to y'all's website so I can?
It's on the tip of my head and my tongue, but I'm not getting it. It's the botanical.
I know.
Botanical action. Oh no. Maybe.
They'll put a
I
comment.
hope they drop it in the comment. Yeah.
It's just it's a delay.
Advocacy and education.
Here it is. Botanical
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, and
Thank you,
Angela. Thank you, Angela. Great to have you all here with us, all the BAE people, and thank you, Christopher, for keeping us informed. I know he's part of that group too, and look, we're all for advocacy. That's what we're all about. That's why we do this every Saturday afternoon. We hang out for a few hours. We watch these videos. We talk about all the ways we can advocate just by us talking about Kratom and sharing our stories.
And I love how all the communities are coming together and helping each other out. So I just think it's great.
Yes, very much so. I hope that
Exactly.
more people want to do the same and unite.
Yeah.
For our purpose, and then grow. And then if there is anything going on or people being uncomfortable with another person or anything like that, we can set all that aside for the overall goal.
Exactly.
I would like to see that anyhow, but I don't know if that would ever happen.
Yeah, can one of y'all put the actual link to y'all's website in one of y'all's comments so I can post it on here? I don't know it offhand.
A point that I also like to make, because I've been talking to a lot of people since I've started advocating, and they've been reaching out and sharing their stories. And there's this one woman, and she's local, and her brother is just not doing well. He's got addict behavior. He's behaving as an addict and taking a lot of Kratom and all of these different Kratom products. And again, Kratom is getting the blame for it. But the truth is no matter what, okay, take the Kratom away, they're going to find something else.
That's right.
And what about alcohol and the destruction that alcohol has brought into lives of many, and people abuse it. Like one person told me, well, it's not fair that you're coming, people are trying to stay off Kratom, but then they see signs for it places. And I'm like, okay, but people are fighting hard to come off of alcohol, and there's a liquor store on every corner and a bar everywhere. So
that's right.
Why is one different than the other?
And when I quit drinking, in fact, today or tomorrow, what's it is 7 years. Oh, tomorrow I have 7 years, but
Congrats.
Thank you. Facebook was rolling ads for booze through my, that's still my responsibility and my trigger. So we can't always blame something else, like because it's there. It's almost like you have to coddle the person. But alcohol is like, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore either. I quit years ago. But I'm going into a store and it's still right there in my face. We have to be accountable and responsible to ourselves.
Yep.
100%.
So
I think that's not talked about enough. And now in my video, stop blaming Kratom. I'm a pretty hardcore person. I come from a hardcore background. It was do or die. Nobody was saving me. I've been on my own since I was 8 years old. And it's just like, okay, I get it. Things are hard, but also quit being a victim. Quit laying down and surrendering all of your power. Reach out for help. Look for resources. Get your ish together.
Amen.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I'm so glad you were available to join us for the first
Me
hour or so,
too.
Cameron. This is so great because we all got fired up watching your video a few weeks ago. We're like, who's this gal? She's awesome. And we just loved your message and you advocating for Kratom. It's just been awesome getting to know. And by the way, y'all, I did interview her for the Kratom Stories podcast, but it's been on a little bit of a
Yay.
hiatus. I'm still interviewing people. It's just, y'all, it's a lot of work. It's not the interview part. That's the easy part, but the editing the videos and doing
Yeah.
all the after stuff. And actually, I mean, I've been doing this by myself for a long time. If anybody is either likes doing stuff like video editing or just any like the post-production stuff, anybody's good at it or likes to do it, or I can show you how to do stuff, it'd be nice to have like a helper because it's so much work. But it's so important getting our message out there. And I my background, as I said earlier, I'm 30 years in digital marketing, so I know how to do all this stuff. So when I discovered Kratom in 2019, for those that are newer to me that don't know my story, and I don't know if some of the OG advocates know a lot about me, but when I discovered Kratom in 2019, and it started working so well for my pain, my first thought was, oh my God, I'm going to start a podcast for this. I'm going to call it Kratom Stories. I already had the whole idea. And I've been podcasting since 2013. It's something I love doing. Podcasting, I love live streaming. I love all this stuff. That's just my business background. And I would have started the podcast a lot sooner. The reason why I didn't start it back then is because when I discovered Kratom, I was going through major life changes. My dad had passed away suddenly. I moved in to be my mom's in-home caregiver, and everything happened so fast. It just literally, I packed an overnight bag to go back to my childhood home, take care of my mom. I still live in the same city, but I really just thought we all thought it would just be an overnight stay, but my dad never came home from the hospital. So I made the decision to stay and take care of her instead of putting her in a home. And it wasn't easy, but because of Kratom, I was able to do it. So I discovered Kratom right when all that was happening.
Nice.
Amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I can do physical activity again that I could not do when I was in pain management. And so I had the idea for the podcast and all the advocacy stuff I wanted to get involved with, but it took a lot of bandwidth to just be there day in and day out and take care of her. And by this point, she had developed, started getting dementia and ended up with Alzheimer's, and it was a whole thing. But I'm so glad I spent those later years for her, taking care of her. And I just knew that once that chapter was over, the very first thing I would do would be to get Kr8tom Stories podcast going. And it's exactly what I did. I started a little over 2 years ago, and I love doing this. And I love being somebody that can show all you all how stuff's not hard to do. I know when I first started, I had the idea for the Kratom Gals. It was just I was like, we got to have some kind of live stream. And I just asked some of the Kratom advocates I knew, hey, do you want to do this with me? Why don't we just try it as a group and see how it goes? And Venus was not comfortable on video, was not comfortable doing, but she said, yes, I want to do, because this was so important to her. And she's come such a long way. She's so comfortable on camera now, right, Venus? You've come this is something anybody can do. And I hope I can help inspire people to do more stuff like this for those that either don't know how or haven't felt like they could. And one of the things I've been doing right now on just my regular Madeline Sklar social media is on January 1st, I started a self-imposed 30-day content challenge. I just want to post something every day for 30 days. And I knew by doing that, I'd put more personal stuff up or just my daily thoughts. And that's something I usually don't do in my business stuff. And through this process, it's like, hey, who would want to do a 5-day video challenge with me? And I knew a lot of people in our Kratom community would be interested, but I know a lot of I've been building online communities since the mid 90s. I've connected with so many people over the decades, and so many people in my different communities. I need that. Yes, I would do that. But I'm excited how many Kratom consumers are like, yes, because I know they want to make videos. I know they want to do more with advocacy, but sometimes we need that little push. Because it really is as simple as you grab your phone, you press the button, you turn it, you record, and you just talk. That's all. But it's not easy just doing it.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier knowing you're doing it with the group also.
100%. So if anybody's interested in, I don't know when exactly I'm going to do, it'll be soon, but just reach out to me, send me a DM or message me somewhere. And let me know, because I'm keeping a list of all the people. A lot of people have said they're interested, and it's like, okay, cool. Because it was before I started taking care of my mom, it was a program I actually taught. I had so much fun helping people, get more comfortable doing video and live streaming. So anyway, all right. Anything before we go back to videos? Didn't mean to just go all over the place with this, but
that's what I love about the show. It goes all over the place. You never know, and we need
Yep,
to
and
know
that's
all of
okay.
it.
That's
Yep.
right.
We need all that information.
Perfectly fine.
So Christopher from Christopher Organic Botanicals, who's medicinal plant, he lost his YouTube channel, so that's why he's under Medicinal Plant Edge. So he said he was on Cameron's channel unknowingly. That's so cool. So he came across you, Cameron. He saw your videos. It's making an impact.
I think he's talking about watching it live, because I linked it. So, and I noticed when he was commenting, there was that little paperclip looking thing. I think that's what he was talking about.
Oh, cool. This next news story I have is called Clinton Township, and it's a Detroit news station, but they have been doing some different news stories about Kratom. Let me play this one for y'all.
We go now to Clinton Township, cracking down on Kratom sales. Kratom is an unregulated supplement, and according to the DEA, it can mimic the feeling of opiates and can lead to psychotic symptoms and dependence issues. Last night, Clinton Township trustees moving forward with a plan to ban the sale of Kratom to anyone under 21 years old, require retailers to check IDs, and implementing a $500 fine for violations. Many people commenting on our reporting, sharing their personal struggles with the addictive substance, most of them raising concerns about addiction. 7 News Detroit reporter Evan Siri speaking with one of those commenters, sharing his battle with Kratom addiction and raising the call to action from a local judge.
Pretty extreme discomfort. I was sweating in my sleep.
Andrew Wilczewski says he felt like that for 2 weeks during a Kratom withdrawal. He first told us about his addiction in a Facebook comment, reacting to a post on a story we brought you on Monday.
When I see the word Kratom come across on the internet now, it kind of creates a pit in my stomach.
We have a motion in support.
Monday night, Clinton Township trustees voted to pass the first reading of an ordinance regulating the sale of Kratom, restricting it to those 21 and older. And here in front of District Court 41B in Macomb County, Judge Kr8tom says last night was definitely a step in the right direction with that ordinance being passed, but she believes Kratom should be banned altogether.
The minute we prohibit them from utilizing other drugs, they turn to Kratom.
Judge Fuka says Kratom is deceptively marketed as a natural alternative for pain relief, anxiety, and opioid withdrawal. She particularly worries about the synthetic version containing a dangerous alkaloid called 7-OH, which experts say is 14 times stronger than morphine.
In my perfect world, the synthetic version of it would be banned entirely. If there's arguably uses for the natural version of it, it's my understanding that there's not a market for that.
Kratom's been used for centuries in Southeast Asia.
Mac Haddo is a member of the American Kratom Association.
It has become a popular cottage industry by substance abuse clinics who we believe actually exploit Kratom consumers.
Haddo says he uses a small amount of Kratom himself every day for arthritis.
It is the bad actors in the system that are not processing or testing these raw materials appropriately. That's why we advocate for what we call the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. We hope that Michigan will become the 20th state that will implement that regulation.
In Clinton Township, Evan Siri, 7 News.
Wow. Okay. So interesting. Any thoughts on that one?
Yes. I want to share something.
Sure.
And I have noticed this again, like I said, I've been advocating, I've been having a lot of interactions, and there's always so much under the surface. So one girl who I know who commented on my Facebook post, she said, my friend thought it was a harmless tea, got addicted, overdosed, and died. And then people who were watching the comments, they took that at face value and were like, oh my gosh. So publicly, I asked more questions, right? How do you know? Where was he drinking it? Da, 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 da. So then she leads me to an Instagram page that he made, which was to advocate to help people stop taking Kratom. Sure enough, in his own videos, his first overdose was because he bought 2 of the OPMS black shots and took 2 back to back and claimed to have overdosed. So that right there, he was not overdosing off of the plain leaf tea. He was overdosing off of the extracts. And that was the first time. And apparently he died. He's no longer unlived. He's no longer with us because of Kratom. And it kind of blows my mind that not only did he already quit, started a semi-organization to help other people quit, but then did it again and then overdosed and is no longer with us. And it's questions like this. We've got to think critically. And unfortunately, in today's society, whether people are dehydrated, malnourished, the critical thinking aspect, we're just losing. You've got to ask questions. I had somebody on my YouTube channel the other day, coming at me about how he, it's all filled with heavy metals. And the first comment, you would think he knew for sure. And then the second comment, he was like, you know what? I'm half tempted to get this stuff tested so I can prove to you guys. And I said, hey, I would appreciate it if you did that. And then came back to me with something substantial before I change my beliefs or form an opinion based off a comment from some stranger off of the internet. And we need more of that.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Y'all, anybody else have any thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah. I know there's
The
always
only
like
thing-
somebody hiding behind a keyboard that like trying to be the know-it-all on the internet. Sorry, Twinkle, go
And
ahead.
they often, no, you're fine. They often like to call it psychoactive or euphoric and all that. And I can't imagine. The most I have ever felt has been either equal to coffee or maybe an espresso, but that's it. So you'd have to take so much in order to, I would think, in order to ever get that.
Get
So
to that point.
they're
Right.
trying to make it sound so much like common drugs, but even if people are taking it, they're still fentanyl. Even if we're talking about 7-0, I know we're talking about tea, but there's other harmful things out there already. And so if somebody is utilizing it for harm reduction or a type of mat, and they're being safer, then I wouldn't take that away from those people either.
No,
My
I
purpose
agree.
is different, but I
Right.
wouldn't.
And I think that even if they had problems, I think it would have helped them as long as they knew what it was and what they were doing.
That's
it still
right.
helps them through that certain phase in their lives, and I think it just keeps them here longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think is
'Cause-
interesting when you brought up fentanyl, Twinkle? Why is the media, they don't ever talk about that anymore?
No, it just all of a sudden, it's all
Does street fentanyl magically go away? Do people stop?
Right.
I would like somebody to go find out how many deaths have still gone on.
And are these deaths actually decreased because there are other options out here? You know what I mean? So if people
Right.
were, if they were trying to use it to, I hate saying getting high, but if that was a purpose, and that's why people go to the streets and they get the contaminated product or the mixed product or the carfentanil mixed with who knows what, and then tainted and contaminated, and they are using, let's say they're even overusing 7-0 in higher amounts, they're still not dying of fentanyl, and we don't hear about that anymore. So I don't know. It feels like it possibly does play a part in the reduction, though I don't have any statistics on that to know for sure if 7-0 being out there has reduced the deaths from fentanyl, because we don't hear about it. It was years and years.
I think it's still happening. It's just, what's the
They're just
shiny,
not talking about it.
yeah, it's always about what's the shiny object, what's
Yeah.
getting the most attention, what's getting the views and clicks, and
It's
it was
not the big story anymore. This is the big
right,
story.
exactly.
Kratom or
exactly.
7-0 is a big story, so they're going to leave. They're not even going to address it.
Also, I believe, because I work a lot with families who have lost people from fentanyl, and the mothers tend to hold a lot of like embarrassment or shame, but actually both the parents, not just the mothers, but a lot of them come from like single parent homes. And I've watched it. I've watched people ask what happened while we're raising funds for the funeral, and the mother's whole face changes. And I don't have anything to back this up yet, but other than my own personal experience with a lot of families, that it's easier for them to blame Kratom than admit that their child was using something
That's
like
right.
fentanyl.
I
That's
completely
right.
agree. Completely agree.
I do absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. 'Cause that's an
Yeah.
excellent point in all of this. Let me play. I know we're coming up to the top of the hour and we're going to be swapping out Cameron for Becca. But let me play one more news story while we still have Cameron here with us. This is out of Kansas City. There's been a lot from Kansas City, and that's where the was it American Shaman, CBD Shaman, was it whatever it's called. That's where I know they're based out of. I think it's a national chain, but like that guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's the one that claims he's the one that started the whole 7-OH thing. So he sure gets a lot of attention on the news. But this was a story that featured him.
Welcome back. There's a renewed call to ban a drug that you can find at smoke shops, gas stations, even at grocery stores. It's called 7-O. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas is urging the DEA to classify 7-O as an illegal drug.
And meanwhile, the creator and main supplier of the drug defends his product in an interview with Fox 4 investigative reporter Bella Kr8tom. Now, Bella, what did he have to say?
The Kansas City man who has pumped millions of dollars into creating this product is steadfast in his belief that 7-O is a good thing for the world.
So this is just finished goods right now. We're doing
This entire warehouse
from floor to ceiling all the way back.
is full of packing materials for 7-O products. 7-O comes from the natural kratom plant. But what American Shaman CEO Vince Sanders and his scientists found takes the potency to another level.
I could find no white papers. I could find no studies, because I'm thinking, well, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, all these guys surely are on this, but nobody was.
Did you ever stop to pause and think all of these other major manufacturers of drugs aren't touching this? Why should I?
Well, not really.
Not everyone is excited about his discovery. Fox 4 spoke with a 25-year-old former addict who got addicted to 7-O after 6 years in recovery.
I never thought I would be in a detox center doing it again from something that's legal.
U.S. Senator Roger Marshall is also calling on the DEA to classify 7-O as an illegal substance.
So it's a very strong, it's a very potent drug. So I'm afraid that it could lead to children dying, as well as just addiction and all the other side effects that come with drug abuse.
Studies show 7-O can be up to 13 times more potent than morphine. So why does Sanders believe his product is a good thing?
The biggest thing I think is the people are finding a safe off-ramp.
He says it's a safe alternative for opioids, comparing 7-O to vaping for tobacco.
We don't want somebody that's never done anything to start using too much and develop.
My question about that is, you say you don't want new people to use it, but you had a billboard that said, try it for free.
Listen, I want you to use it. I don't want you to abuse it.
Opponents to 7-O are calling on...
Wait. So he has a billboard. His logic makes no... Is it just me? His logic makes no sense, what he just said.
Offering a free sample, but don't abuse it. And it doesn't make any sense that he would have that out there. And I don't like the free samples that they give out with those.
That's how a lot of people got addicted to it. So many people have private messaged me on social media.
But I do sort of agree with the saying. Of course, he wants people to use it because they want the money and they want you to be a return customer. But at least he did add the not abuse it part. But I don't know. I still feel like, I don't want to say people are targeted, because if I part of me wants to say that, but we can't minimize responsibility, me as a person, even if somebody is targeting to me and handing it out to me for free.
Right.
It's still my responsibility to either research it, find out what I'm taking. If I end up with a problem with it, I need to back off. If for some people, if they do have to go to Suboxone, do it. I mean, I think that's a partial scam too. But if they had to, at least they do have there is an exit strategy. I would tell somebody to wean to tea, would just wean to plain leaf kratom. But there are a few stories out there that we're hearing that for kratom and 7-O that they need to go and have be medically treated. I don't know about all that either. I think I am strong enough. Maybe somebody else isn't strong enough. So I wouldn't minimize that for someone, but just always, it right back to it being something else's fault or someone else's fault. And
Well, yeah,
then
like
that's
Becca.
lacking accountability.
Yeah, because Becca put in the comments, agreed. It's a personal choice, and we all need to be accountable to that choice for ourselves. My problem is billboards and free samples. It should not be. They shouldn't be doing that, because that's where it's going to get into the hands of kids. Some kid sees that billboard. Oh, I gotta go.
Let me try to get
find
that.
out how to
That's
get
right.
that.
Right.
And the free samples is just wrong across the board. Like they shouldn't be doing that. But that's how a lot of people told me they got addicted to 7-OH is the free sample at the smoke shop. They were just giving them away to get people to use it. And
Right.
people fell
And
in love
saying
with
it was Kratom sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said it just took that first one to get them to like it and want to go back to it. Let me finish the news story. But I don't know. I just don't agree with some of the things he's saying in this report.
Stricter regulations and enforcement. Sanders says he's not against regulations.
We'd love to see those rules.
Sounds like, though, it was sell first, figure out regulations after, though.
If you could ever get them done, it would take years.
So were years not worth mitigating the bad?
Definitely not.
Senator Marshall is working on the federal level. Now, here in the metro, if you remember, last month, the FDA seized tens of thousands of 7-0 products from American Shaman warehouses, claiming that they were illegally selling those products despite FDA warnings. I'm Bella Kr8tom.
I liked her questions. I thought she was like she was coming at him, and I thought those were all good questions. But he had like this answer for everything, and it's just like I don't know.
But what bothers me too is when they say that the 7-OH is in plain leaf kratom because it comes out in the drying process, depending on how they're drying it, or I guess when you process it through your liver, and then also say that in small amounts it's in the drying process and make that distinction there too.
We have to have the distinction. I mean, that's like the biggest problem. And for us advocates, that's the biggest hurdle we have. The news reports always say it's all the same, or
Yeah, and I'm not of the mind that, sometimes we'll hear that they come from, 7-0 comes from Kratom, so in a way it's all Kratom. That I don't believe. There has to be a distinction because the 7-0 is targeting pain specifically, and it might be in minute amounts there in the tea, in the being oxidized and our livers, but it is the pain relieving property. It does need to be, people need to know this is not the same as this. They might come from each other. One may have been born off of another one, but they're still their own person, essentially. It's still its own, it's separate.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know my time is coming up, so there's just really one more
Thank you
point.
for coming.
Yeah.
I love it. Anytime.
Give us your parting thoughts.
One, as we've already touched on here, and coming from the streets, one of the rules in the game is first dose is always free. First hit's free. That's how you get them hooked. That's the name of the game, and that's what they're doing. And I agree that should not be allowed. But the second, and again, kind of like how we recognize the problems that alcohol creates, but we're not, prohibiting that. Something in my line of work I have seen, and it's showing more and more, like 18 to 25-year-olds that are being diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and dementia because of high fructose corn syrup and sugar. Multiple young men and women under the age of 17 years old, they are removing, like one young man, they removed over 90% of his large intestines within less of a year of being diagnosed with Crohn's, and Crohn's is directly caused by food and trauma. And so while yes, sugar and the food, it takes a little longer for those negative consequences to occur, people are dying. People we know and love are suffering. They are sick and they are dying because of the food that is served and this given to us in this country. And so that's one of my biggest points of contention when I'm watching people advocate so much against this plant, but saying nothing against the poison that their kids are being fed. I mean, cancers, diabetes.
And so then technically, if they also took Kratom and they had they could have died from these other things anyway, Kratom would be blamed for it. So if they had the underlying condition going on and they also took the tea, we know that that would be logged as a kratom death, even if they had.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
it's
good
just
point.
we just have our priorities all mixed up in so many different ways and so many different things, and it doesn't make sense. But I would like to see more awareness. Like, okay, you really care about the children? All right, well then look at what you're feeding.
Right. Exactly.
That's such a great point. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Excellent
It
point.
was so great having you here with us today for the first hour and getting your insights and thoughts.
Yep,
So
thank
we'll
you.
definitely get you back on, and she will be on the Kratom Stories podcast once we get the new season of episodes out. You'll get to hear her full story. But thank you, Cameron.
ladies. Thank you so much. Do I just hit this
Thank
little red
you.
leave button?
Yeah. You can just do that to leave, and I'll bring Becca up. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
It was so much fun. And there's Becca. How
Hey,
are you?
There's
Becca.
Becca. Hi, Becca.
Good to see you.
Everyone, sorry I had to get my mic on. Good to see you.
It's all
gal.
good. It's all good. Wow, we've had like a great first hour and great having Cameron join us. We watched her video a few weeks ago that I stumbled upon on YouTube. I'm like, wow, she is cool. I'm like, I put in her comments of that video. Like, I was just so wowed by her. And I'm like, I'd love to have you on my podcast. So, made the arrangements. I've interviewed her. She's awesome. And it's like, we got to get her on the Kratom Gals whenever we have an opening. I gotta see if she can come on. So that was great. I'm so glad we got to hear her thoughts. There's a great comment. This is Deborah Chesney, who's also going to be on the podcast. I've interviewed her as well. And she wants to get more involved with advocacy. So it's like, Deborah, come join it. We need more advocates. We need more people speaking out. So she makes such a great comment. There has to be a distinction between 7-OH and natural leaf kratom. People also need to be responsible for their own research and what they put in their bodies. 100%. That's
absolutely.
I just don't know how to get that across any more than I already do. I mean, I feel like almost all of my short form videos on TikTok and YouTube, I'm constantly talking about that. I'm constantly talking about the difference between the two, and do your own research, understand what you're ingesting. I mean, I think initially I assumed everybody's like me. Certainly you're going to go Google and learn more about before I started Kratom, I saw the documentary Leaf of Faith. I'm like, this is interesting. I can't believe a plant would work on my pain issues, but hey, I'm willing to try it. And I spent a long time researching and talking to people. That's just me. I'm not going to just go. I know, and look, and I'm not saying anything negative to the person that's like, I heard about this and I just went out to the smoke shop and bought it. Do you? But I wanted to fully understand what I'm going to consume first. Even when I go to the doctor, if they prescribe something I've never taken before, when he hands me the script and I leave, the first thing I do when I get home is I'm going to go and do my research. I'm going to learn everything I can. And I'm also going to check to make sure there's no interactions between that and anything else I take. And so I'm just I thought everybody's like that, but apparently not. So I just think it's important. Do your research, know what you're
And we should care about what's going inside our bodies.
Yes.
Anyway,
We
exactly.
For sure. But I love that you brought up at the end the whole food thing, because that's becoming more and more of a concern. The stuff they're putting in our foods, and most of us are not even aware of it. There's this YouTuber I've fallen in love with. He is Bobby. What is it? Something Bobby approved. He has like his Bobby approved foods and stuff. And he makes these videos and he talks about like the things to watch out for, because it's things you don't even realize. And he points it out. So I've actually been a vegetarian for a very long time. I did the vegan thing for a while in 2011, 2012-ish. And it was good for my health. I remember one of my doctors was like, whatever you're doing, keep doing this. Like, he was impressed with my labs when I did that, especially the cholesterol. But I've definitely have stayed as a vegetarian all this time. And I try to be really mindful of what I eat, but I'm also a picky eater. And it's hard to be a mindful eater when you're a picky eater. And I love sweets. I love, all the junk. But there's a particular bread I like. So I love sandwiches. I love bread. And I was buying one that I thought was good and healthy. And then I see this video of his recently. And he talked about, he's showing ingredients. And he points out this bread that I love, that I've been buying for several years now. It has the refined sugar in it. And it's like, and he talks about the added sugars that are put into our foods, right? And then he shows same brand, but a different one. And it doesn't have the sugar. It has like what was that, I think honey or some natural sweetener. I'm like, let me go try. Next time I go to the store and I buy bread, I'm going to try that one. Same brand. I'll probably like it. Let me try that and see if I notice, does it taste that much different? Because I think they put so much sugar and salt in our foods and we don't even realize it, but we're so used to it and the taste.
Yep.
So I bought that bread. And at first I'm like, I taste a little bit of a difference, but it wasn't that bad. So now I only buy that particular one. And I'm like, it's the only one of that brand where they're not using sugar in it. They're using a natural. I'll have to go look to see what it was, but I think it's just like honey or something. And it's all because I saw this video and him explaining this, where it's so easy to understand. And he even did he mostly does videos like, stuff to, good healthy food at, do like Costco and Aldi's and Walmart. And he did a Walmart one recently. And I'm like, well, I sometimes go to Walmart, and he showed some things. I'm like, oh, I never really thought about looking at some of these products because he's showing the label.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it so
The more we
interesting.
know. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yep.
let me see what his name is. But I know he has an app called Bobby. I think it's Bobby Approved, Bobby Approved. You can just Google Bobby Approved.
Okay.
You'll find him. But he's an interesting Bobby Parrish. Parrish. That's him on YouTube. I'm just super impressed with him. So because I like healthy eating. I try to really pay attention, and even more so since I became a Kratom consumer and learning so much about plant medicine through all of you consumers and advocates. I've learned so much from y'all over the years. And I just love all the different supplements I use now, learning about the functional mushrooms like lion's mane. I love lion's mane. I love, I use my lion's mane mushroom powder. I put that in my morning Kratom. I use that in the morning with my Kratom. And I love reishi. Reishi is like my favorite. I use that in the evening. And I've just learned so much from people in our community that are so educated on this stuff that I never paid attention to before. So I really appreciate that from everyone. Our community is amazing, just overall, Kratom consumers.
It really is. We do have a very vast, unique, and just interesting community.
Yeah.
We're very lucky.
And with the advocating, we all seem to add our own different perspective and parts, like to make everything just move smoothly. And I just love that, how we all get along and everything just goes the way it's supposed to go. It's like synchronicity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the comments before. Deborah knows who I'm talking about, so that's cool. But yeah, I really appreciate all of y'all being here live with us. Since we got a lot of the OG advocates here,
I saw that.
We got to get y'all up here on. I know not everybody's comfortable on camera. Look, we're just a casual hang like this is not fancy, but for the OG advocates that are here in the live chat, Lois and Robin and Angela, if any of y'all are up for it, let us know. We'll send you the link if you want to pop on screen and talk with us. Whether it's just for a few minutes or just come hang out we'd love to get you on here. And
absolutely,
I know, Becca, you're OG. You're like our OG Kratom advocate here. That's part of the Kratom gals, and Venus
OG, if you will.
Yeah, and Venus and Twinkle, y'all been consumers and advocates for a long time too. Even though I started Kratom in 2019, y'all are way more of the OGs in all of this, and it's just so awesome coming together and just doing stuff like this and getting us all inspired to keep advocacy is hard. It's not.
It is.
And we go through periods of burnout.
It is. And you are so right. We do go through periods of burnout, and it's hard to get back into that excitement, that energy area again. But and I know that we're kind of in a lull right now because things are a little in between for the most part, except for Ohio. I know there's a lot of activity going on there. But I have faith that we're going to find it again, and
I think so too.
2026 we
I
are
agree.
going to bring it back. And we were surprised a lot in 2025, but 2026 is going to be our year. I believe that, and
I think so too.
I agree. Yeah, because when I first found Kratom in 2017, I found it and then it was just jumping right into advocacy. And that year was so crazy that I barely remember it. So now it's like getting to know everybody again and learning all the different things. And then having you teach us the AI things, it helps so much. I feel like now's the time, like we've all been waiting for, to get it done.
Absolutely.
Well, Venus, I love how you've embraced AI using ChatGPT to help you with your advocacy and helping you write out scripts and even helping you like when you're doing our posts in school with some of this stuff. I can tell you're using I can tell
Yeah.
ChatGPT is helping you because it helps me a lot too with some of the stuff I want to put out, and it's so beneficial in so many ways. I know a lot of people are nervous about AI and all this stuff. I look at the point of, and just for those that don't know, I mean, I actually teach a lot of that stuff in my business life, but there's so much good it can do. And especially when it comes to like us as Kratom advocates, it can help us, do more in our advocacy. It can you can even brainstorm with it.
And Venus has become a superstar. I mean, she's had all these hearings. She's learning to use the other features, the things she's learned from you, and just doing just like boom.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it really helps me. It helps me when my brain kind of gets stuck, or even telling my story when it comes out of my mouth. It doesn't sound right when I'm writing it down on paper, but it sounds right when he takes all my when he takes all my words and puts them together, and it it just comes out and it sounds right. And I even had them write me it so that it would be easier to say, since I don't have my teeth. Some words are hard to say. And so I asked GPT Chat, I said, can you make my speech so that it's easier for me to do?
What a great idea.
Perfect. Yes,
and
absolutely.
it did it. It did it.
That's a great idea. You're so smart, Venus. What a great idea. Like you just kind of tell it what you need and it will figure it out for you and help you. That's so great. Well, I definitely encourage our fellow advocates, if you've not tried using something as simple as ChatGPT, which you can do for free. They have, the free version can do a lot. And you can even do it on your phone. I love just talking to it. It's like my little friend here. I just go to the mobile app. You can do it on your computer as well, by just pressing the button and just talking to it and it talks back to me like a person. And I use it all the time to brainstorm ideas. It helps me with the podcast, helps me with this live stream when we're done with the live stream. And, on YouTube, I want to put like a title on the YouTube so people will find us. I want the title to be based on what our actual discussion was about. ChatGPT can like take the transcript of our audio of this from YouTube and help me figure out what's a good title, what's a good description. And, it can do a lot of great things. I'm just a big fan of it. So yeah, Robin, we can definitely let's definitely coordinate having you all come on here with us sometime, because we would love that. We would love that. And I promise we make it a great experience. Even if you don't like cameras, just ask Venus. Venus, I mean, the first time I said, hey, would you come do the Kratom Gals live stream idea I have? I think at first you're kind of like,
I was panicked, only because I got caught off guard. When I get caught off guard and Chris knows the same thing, I'll say yes, and then once I say yes, I have to prove it. I can prove it. Yeah.
And look at you now. I mean, you're so comfortable doing this, and you've come a long way with just the podcast itself. When I first had you on, and I know you were so nervous, and I understand that a lot of people in our community have never done a podcast before. And I've been podcasting forever, so for me, it's like no big deal. But a lot of people in our community have never done anything like that before, so it was very new for them. And I just always say, we're just having a chat. Just you and me, a chat about Kratom. I just happen to be recording it, and the recording will come out later, for everybody. So everybody can, hear your story. But I try to make it so it's just so easy. Y'all have all been on it. Y'all know. I try to make it super easy and as low stress as possible.
And it really is low stress as possible.
So, okay. I'm glad the OG ladies would like to come on. So we will definitely, let's figure out when we can do that. And I know y'all worked so hard back in the day when I just want to say I appreciate all of y'all, what y'all did back, in 2016. I didn't discover Kratom until 2019, but when I learned about, my first introduction was a leaf of faith. That's how I didn't know anything about Kratom. I mean, I was 9 years in pain management, no issues. And then I get a form letter in the mail. The doctor's not going to prescribe anymore because, everything got so hard. And I understand they don't want to go to jail. I mean, you hear these stories of these pain doctors going to prison for prescribing legitimate pain. I know there's the bad actor ones. I'm talking about the ones that did the legitimate stuff. And I can see where a lot of doctors got scared and like, this is not worth it, especially the younger ones. And my doctor was a younger one. And so I
their homes, their kids' college, their life,
it would destroy their
is
lives.
at risk, right? So even though we should matter too, I at least understand their side of it. They would lose everything.
Yeah. And I understood that. I didn't like that this was done in a form letter, but I also understood like it was a huge practice, and they had. I mean, every time I went, which was like once a month, there were I would be there for hours because there's so many people in the waiting room. And he's not the only doctor. It was a big practice, but he was a very popular doctor. And he was one of those ones that would take the time with you. So he does that times however many people each day. I mean, I could hear him in other rooms, he was very popular. You'd hear him going into, everybody loved this guy. He was wonderful. And he cared and he took the time with you. I mean, this guy and I were always having to reevaluate my pain plan because not only was I a high processor of the opiates, but my tolerance levels. I mean, every time I found something that worked pretty well, not too long into the future, it wouldn't work anymore because of my tolerance issues. And
that's exactly how I was too. Yeah.
Oh, it was this constant like dance of like, okay, I'd be like, okay, it's not working as well. I'm in a lot of pain. He's like, all right, well, let's try something. Like he was always open to it, and we would talk about it, and then we would try something else. And so it was like this constant, like, every so many months having to kind of go in a different direction. And we were a great team with this. So it was pretty upsetting that they couldn't have done this in a sit-down appointment meeting. They did it with a form letter, but it was a big practice. He has a lot of patients, so I kind of understood. But now I'm out in the cold thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do? And the letter had a list of other pain management doctors, and their kind of attitude was like, just call one of these others. And no others would take over my care. And I'm in a big city, and I could not find one doctor that would take over what I'd been doing for my healthcare. And so that's when a Leaf of Faith came on Netflix. And I'm like, what is this? And that's how I saw what y'all did in 2016. Because, this in the documentary, I'm like, oh my God, this sounds like an amazing plant. I'm going to have to try this. And because when I saw the documentary, that was when I had lost access, and the doctor agreed to give me at first what they did is just gave me scripts to last a couple of months while I went and found a new doctor. Couldn't find a new doctor, and then he's like, they didn't want to do anything, and so I had to like force them to put me on some, like, at minimum I was told, tell them that they have to at least taper you, like they have to. They can't just leave you high and dry. So I had to like beg them to do that, and they agreed. A 30-day taper going from
that's
a
crazy.
very high amount. Oh, it was.
They need to do that.
It was ridiculous. So so when I saw a Leaf of Faith, I was in that tapering down process. I'm freaking out because I can already like look at the calendar and go, okay, I only have so many meds left. I got to find something. I guess I got to find a drug dealer. Like, I don't know what to do. I see the documentary, so I do some research, doing everything I can to learn about it as quickly as possible, and then bought it. But I was just wowed by what you all did to keep it legal in 2016 when all that craziness happened. And if it wasn't for you all, I would have never gotten the opportunity. It would have been banned, and we'd have no access. So I just want y'all to know I appreciate you all so much for all the hard work y'all did.
Very grateful.
Thank you. And
Very.
thank you to everybody who helped us in 2016. it was hard times for sure, and long nights, and a lot of stress, but we got through it. And uh hopefully we don't ever have to face something like that again, but we all have to be ready. And right now we're facing a lot of state and local stuff. And like Venus was saying earlier, we can definitely use new tactics this time around, like using chat gpt to help us write a script so that we can feel more comfortable talking at these meetings. Because now we have the ability, we didn't then, we do now, we have more of an ability to be there via Zoom and phone call, and we can still put in our story by email as well. But having that script and stuff, we can work on advocacy, and we can all do our part.
I love that. One of the things I would love to do, and I would love to work with y'all's BAE group and the other groups if they're interested, but with my skills with like teaching AI and social media and how to get comfortable in video, one of the things I would love to do is, and y'all let me know at BAE if y'all are interested in this, but I'd be happy to help y'all put on like a webinar or something showing how to use AI to help with advocacy. I mean, one of the cool things, and y'all probably don't even realize y'all could do this. You could use ChatGPT and have it like I said, I like to just talk to it like a person. You could use that
I haven't
feature.
learned how to do that yet, but I've been meaning to, because I think it's so cool when you're talking to her or him,
It's so
whatever you
cool.
have
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's just really amazing.
I show it all the time on my
Yeah.
Madeline Sklar live streams that I do each week. But what you could actually do, and I'm thinking I could probably do some little training on this to show everybody, but like you could talk to it like a person and have it work with you. And for the opposition groups, you're welcome, because you're obviously learning stuff from me right now. I just realized. But it's more important to make sure our people know about this, and that this is something that is so easy to do, is to brainstorm with it and have it help you practice so that you can get comfortable calling up and making those calls. It's not easy for everybody to do, or going onto those Zoom calls and speak out live on those hearings around the country. I know people want to know how, people want to get involved. I think what I always see is people don't know how. I want to help make it easier for people to get past that how, and just show them it's this easy, and here are some tools to help you do it.
Yeah. And the other thing, after being on medications for so many years, my brain just does not work. 17 years, my brain, I know, just does not feel the same or work the same. So the easier way, the least amount of clicks I can have to get through something, the better. The easier it is, the better. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way too. I feel like my brain's just a little bit slower now.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all good.
Yeah, of course.
We definitely need more people advocate, and even just coming on
the
with
AI is definitely going to roll out. I mean, bigger and bigger and bigger in so many places. I shared an article, I think it was last night on X. I can't remember the source, but I think it was Utah or Ohio. I could be wrong on the state, where the AI doctor, it's a doctor AI it's called Doctronic, is actually going to start prescribing medications for people with chronic illnesses.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's,
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, that's just,
I think within 2 years we're going to be seeing AIs are going to be our provider. I mean, I don't mind that it would be a part of it, because AI would have the ability to skim through all your medications if you took them and know an interaction. Like, it would be able to do the background dig on the interaction.
Right.
I don't know, as far as personable, I would hope that you'd have a actual doctor using the AI with him. That would be okay, but I hope it doesn't turn entirely AI, because not unless it's going to be taught to scan our, it can, tell our eyes, our skin, our flesh, our heart, all these things that could be missed with a AI versus a doctor. But then again, doctors miss a lot of cues too in sick people. So I don't know how I feel about it, but it's interesting how, it's all moving forward like that.
Yeah. I love how everybody in the comments reminiscing on the whole
Yeah,
2016. And
Nice.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna
I know
say,
you were there, Becca.
yeah, I don't
That's
think
so
I
awesome.
made it to the documentary, but truly, I agree with them. Like, so many good memories, and it was great to meet everybody because up until that point, I've told you guys before that we had the group NACU, and
Oh, so yeah, Stephanie Sue would talk about that a lot here.
yeah, we spent a lot of time, throughout the day chatting with each other in there. And to meet each other in person, it was like already meeting, just meeting a neighbor, just somebody across town that you finally got a chance to say hi to. So
I love
it
that.
was just, it was such a multifaceted event. And, it was hard work, definitely. Yes. I did a lot of local stuff. I did a lot of boots on the ground, foot pounding, door to door, handing out, informational things like, hey, they're trying to take this away, please help us. Here's a thing that you can sign, like, and I also did the Lansing. I led the Lansing rally, but that was after September.
Oh, that's cool.
But DC, it was awesome. Yeah, definitely. And it's so cool to have you ladies in the comments. Like, I keep watching your comments and I'm like, yes, oh my gosh, so true.
It's
Y'all do
bringing that
amazing work.
that energy. Feel like you can feel it coming back. I love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, we need to get more people advocating, get that magic back that y'all created back then, and get everybody on board everybody on the same page. That seems to be the biggest issue I see right now is you
Yes,
just
it
got
is.
it's like there's these different factions. And that's not going
Yes.
to help anybody. We got to come together and figure out a way. And I'm not saying I understand the distinction between natural kratom and 7-OH. I'm not saying bring it all together. I'm just saying I'm not going to demonize the people that use 7-OH that's helping them. But should we all be advocating together? I don't know. I mean, I know part of the debate with some people. We just need to work to keep our natural kratom safe and legal so we
Yes,
don't lose access to it.
Mhm.
But
in the very least.
even within the natural kratom community, there's still division among that. And that's
Right.
it's not helping anybody. So
No, and the 7-OH, for the most part, those advocates are plain leaf kratom advocates first and foremost.
Yep.
right. Well,
That's
yeah.
right.
I mean, that's something I've learned through all this. A lot of people like Twinkle that are advocating for both, that use both responsibly. I mean, most of y'all are like kratom natural consumers first and foremost. You've been
Correct.
for a long time. You
That's
still
what I
are.
was just having. I mean, I still, my tea is a very big part of my day. While I might be using it for different reasons, it might not always be sufficient for the amount of pain I'm in, but I still have so many benefits for all the other conditions too. Sleep disorders, narcolepsy, offsetting the tiredness or potential doses, because I have a prescription for Nuvigil. It's the actual prescribed narcolepsy medicine. I haven't gone back for another prescription in years, but I still have some if I have to. Well, if the tea is helping that, I don't need to take it. So if I wouldn't need to take that medicine because the tea has been sufficient. If I went out or something, I knew I was going, then maybe I would take a half a piece of it or something like that. But they both are a very big part of my well-being. So
Yeah, I just put up the website. I went and looked it up. It's botanicalae.org. So the ones that the ladies in here are talking about are OG. Are you part of that, Becca?
I don't think I am. I might be, actually, but I'm not sure.
So
Honestly,
botanical
I've
advocacy and
signed up for
education.
so many advocacy things over the years. But I'll
Robin says
definitely
you are
sign up
one of the
over there.
OGs. He says you're one of the OGs. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely love to have y'all come on and talk about your group and what all you're doing. We need more of that, you know. And I tell you,
Oh yeah, I already have them saved. Okay, I just tried to put them in over here to bring the site up. I already got them.
yeah,
All
I mean,
right.
we need more of these advocacy groups and people coming together. And I'm glad to continually hear that AKA and GKC are getting along now. I know Mac mentioned it on his last webinar. He's mentioned it in his last several webinars. And I've been doing a few things with GKC. I want to work with everybody and help because it's all about helping us Kratom consumers. That's what this is all about. And I never liked when there was all these, back and forth sides and almost like you got to pick a side. It's like, why don't we just all work together? So, I tweet out both of their stuff because AKA is not tweeting nearly as much as they used to. So it's a little frustrating that, yeah, we get the emails and stuff, which is good, but a lot of us get a lot of our, we stay on top of news and stuff on X, formerly Twitter, but GKC has been really good at they're doing a lot more tweets out, I've noticed. So I've been retweeting some of those just to keep everybody informed of like just the latest. There's so many things going on. That's what happens every January, right? When you get these new legislative sessions. So as we're talking about advocacy, the next video I have is perfect. So my friend Abram at Pure Infinity Botanicals, I've had him on the podcast a few times. We've watched some of his YouTube videos here. He's the one that he's a VP of a Kratom manufacturing company. He's also co-owner of a kava bar in Florida, but he's the one that did a very public video diary every day for 10 days, stopping Kratom, and it was amazing because, not too many people do that, especially somebody in the industry, but he wanted to show the public, like, this isn't that bad or that hard to do. And he wanted to go through it and be very open and honest and transparent. Now, we played his video, I think it was last week, because he made this great advocacy video about how to call the Ohio State Board of Pharmacy and let them know your thoughts on Kratom. And he's trying to make it super easy for people to get involved in advocacy efforts. And so he has a new video that came out this week where he interviewed this company. It is called First Choice Kratom, and they're based in Ohio. So he brought them on for an interview. They talked about Kratom, about their customers, and the whole issue with Ohio that we're facing right now. And that's just a reminder for everybody that you don't have to live in Ohio you can call and or email the Board of Pharmacy and share your testimony and your thoughts. But I'm going to play some clips from this episode because it's some really great info that I want to share. So let me play this for y'all.
The facts, I want you guys to be armed with this as well. There were about 600 reported Kratom deaths in the last 10 years. Of those 600, 96% had other intoxicants in their system as far as the toxicology report is concerned. The 4% outstanding, there was not a full panel run.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is mind-blowing. I mean, we usually don't hear it said like that. That's why I wanted to start with a bang, because the 96% of what's reported. Let me play that again, because this is just, we don't hear this enough, this kind of information. So let me back it up.
So good to know.
Yeah. So I'll have the link, all the videos we're watching today, I'll have the link to it in my YouTube description later. But if anybody wants to earmark, like this part I'm playing starts at the 4-minute, 45-second mark, because what he's saying here is like, that's an amazing statistic. I need to ask him where he got that information from.
The facts, I want you guys to be armed with this as well. There were about 600 reported Kratom deaths in the last 10 years. Of those 600, 96% had other intoxicants in their system as far as the toxicology report is concerned. The 4% outstanding, there was not a full panel run.
Yeah.
Okay. When you see a news article saying that Kratom killed somebody, there's a couple of things you need to look for. Number one, if they don't say explicitly that this person who passed away didn't have other substances in their system, then they had other substances in their system. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
And number two, when they mention acute mitragyny toxicity, there is no established guideline. There is absolutely no widely accepted threshold of mitragyny toxicity. Okay. So it's BS on both fronts. We know that negative news travels faster than positive news. But the other thing that you guys battle just as much as I do is people not taking personal accountability for their situation and people being harmed by companies who operate unethically. So if you make a Kratom product and you don't tell people that there's other ingredients in there, it can be more habit forming, it can be harmful. And so that's kind of why we decided to put ourselves out there as far as risk is concerned. I'm experiencing it just like you guys because we're educating people and we're transparent with our products. How is this legislation going to affect you in Ohio if it goes through?
And it's going to be huge. Again, just in our space, like we said, we probably served over thousands of people. People every day that come in that are, veterans that are dealing with PTSD. It helps them so much. We've had one guy come in and tell us he was diagnosed with what they call suicide headaches. And he
Oh,
said
I've heard of
that-
this.
Yeah, he said he looked everywhere for, some kind of relief. And he came in and red kratom was like the only thing that could help him. So he actually, was able to live normal while he was, when those episodes occurred, if he took some kratom.
And so just to add one more thing from a medical perspective, number one, the University of Florida has been studying kratom for the last 10 plus years. They've done many high dose studies showing that there were no harmful side effects on people's health. The science behind kratom is that it's only a partial agonist of the mu receptor in the opioid system in the brain, which means it doesn't suppress the respiratory system. However, it shouldn't be combined with other depressants. And I think that's where people run into issues. If you're a person that's abusing Xanax and alcohol and you're taking kratom, it's bad for your body. But I would say the same for excessive amounts of caffeine. People die from caffeine overconsumption every single year. Aside from the University of Florida studying kratom, the FDA also published a high dose study where the FDA themselves actually determined that kratom in high doses was well tolerated. Now, the FDA is not going to put its stamp of approval on there, but right now estimates show that there's 25 million Americans consuming kratom on a regular basis. That means that our neighbors, that's like 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 12 people is familiar with kratom, and they're doing it responsibly. In the same 10-year period that supposedly 600 deaths occurred, you're going to see that alcohol has probably killed hundreds of thousands of people, tobacco, obesity, fast food, etc. If the government trust is low right now, it's because they have proven that they don't meaningfully care about public health and safety. And I think that's what this is about. Banning kratom in Ohio has more to do with a money grab by the pharmaceutical companies and other vested interests to get their money back, because people, Gen Z, as an example, is consuming less alcohol than any other generation before it. And these guys want their dollars and cents back. So what we have to do is make a lot of noise out here. You told me you've had a couple thousand customers between the 3 locations over the last several years. How many people do you think you've helped?
Man, it's hard to put a number. Most of them. I can't really recall too many people that came in and had a negative experience. And, they always come back and say how it's been life changing.
Yeah.
I guess my dad, for example, he worked 40 years standing on concrete at a factory. His back was so messed up. He had back surgeries and, he was standing there, his feet were going numb on him while he's working. And then it's funny because right when we got into the kratom game, we introduced it to him. Next thing you know, he's like, I don't have any pain in my feet. I'm good all day long. I can get around. I'm more social. To this day, he still takes it.
I'm going to stop right here. There's like some different clips I want to play, but first, like that, I thought that clip right there, like that stretch, was really interesting information. Do y'all have any thoughts on that? I love the statistics he's sharing, and then just talking about the type of people they're helping.
Well, I loved it, and I really like that he touched on, and he's absolutely right when it comes to additives. Even if it's a supplement that can be good for us, It's just not, we should always be informed of what we're taking. Some people might like it with a mix, let's say a mix of ashwagandha or something else that can be helpful. But then other people, it can be adverse to them. So they need to always, have, should be listed. We should know what's in it, what's also in it. If it's a mixture
Right.
or a blend, or they're blending it with something beyond another type of tea.
Yeah, not just
a
proprietary blend. What
That's
is that
right.
blend in there?
That's
Yeah.
right. We need to
Right.
know. And they like to put the proprietary on it because it's their secret blend. It's their, it belongs to them. They've created it. And I
Right.
understand that in one aspect. They don't want nobody to know what the secret sauce is, but also we need to know what we're consuming. So we
100%.
can't, what if we're taking it already as a supplement and now we're
Mhm.
taking more? So, I mean, that was important to me.
Yeah,
Right.
and it shows how important it is to pay attention to labels. Now, yeah, when it's
Yes.
proprietary, you don't know what it is. But what's interesting, I mentioned earlier, these different botanical supplements I've learned a lot about. And sometimes you get these gummy products that's like multiple things in it. And I just started using these ashwagandha capsules I really like. So it's just ashwagandha. And I knew that this ashwagandha was in some of these gummy products I was also consuming, but not as like the main thing. Like my reishi gummies I love. I realized, like, I know I noticed it when I first started using them, but I totally forgot, like, it's marketed as a reishi gummy, but it also has a little bit of ashwagandha in it and a little bit of, I think that one has some rhodiola or some other mushroom added, and so it's really paying attention to what the label says.
Mm-hmm.
But you're making such a
Yep.
good point, because with proprietary stuff, if they're not telling you, you're like,
Right.
well, what is this?
We
And
can't.
what if that product is, because since I started using these ashwagandha capsules more regularly in my nighttime routine, I'm making sure I'm not taking those other gummies that already have that in it.
That's right.
Right.
And then if we're taking it again and again, thinking that, and I don't think there can be a super bad adverse reaction to those things, but you might not
Agreed.
feel well. It may make you feel icky for the day or something like that, which means that we wouldn't want to. Yeah, I would just always like to know what's in anything that that I
Yeah.
take or I consume. I don't want it slipped in without my knowledge.
Right. Exactly. Let me play a few more clips from this. I'm going to play this short one right here.
What people would you say your customer base is made up of? Who do you serve?
It's crazy. A lot of them, I would say, is people in the medical field.
Yeah.
We get a lot of nurses.
Yeah, I mean, like most people probably think it's the drug addicts trying to, like, that's maybe 10% of our customers, like most of them are everyday professional people.
Yeah.
We had doctors, like you said, and medical people. We have city workers, post office. Like, I mean,
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not just one certain group.
Yeah, the stigma is
I think that's like one of the misconceptions. I think they just nailed it. I mean, these are both manufacturing companies we're hearing from. And with those two men, they're in Ohio. I mean, I think that's why Abram brought them on, because of what's happening in Ohio and getting their perspective. But I think there's this misconception, like, who are actually Kratom consumers?
Yep. And I love that he also said earlier that the people he's interviewing, that his father takes it, so family members, and I think we need to have a lot more of that out there too, that the family members are consuming them, they are supporting us, and they wouldn't be supporting us if it was something bad.
Great point. I love that. I'm going to play one more clip from this interview. Really just well done.
Like this, guys, we have to make some noise. Most bills that get introduced across the country, the politicians don't even get a phone call. A phone call is more impactful than an email, because the email can be automatically filtered to spam. So in this case, there's a hearing in about 70 days where we're all going to have to show up and fight. But the Ohio Board of Pharmacy needs a phone call from you. The number is 614-466-4143.
Let me pause that for a second. So anybody that, if you haven't had a chance to reach out to them, there's the phone number. if you go to his YouTube channel, Pure Infinity Botanicals, go over on YouTube, type in Pure Infinity Botanicals. He made a video last week. We watched it here. He has a video of him calling the Ohio Board of Pharmacy so that you can feel like you're there with him to see how easy it is to call them up and leave a message. And you're never like talking to a big deal higher up person or person in charge. If you get somebody on the phone, it's just going to be an aide in the office. But many times you just get a recording. So you get the voicemail, so you can leave a message. You can just share, which I know can be a lot easier for people. And you can always email. If anybody's looking for that info, just reach out. I'm happy to give you the info. American Kratom Association has been great putting out details of this on their newsletter. And also, if you go join us over on the school platform, go to kratomrealtalk.com. Venus and I have been I know Venus does most of it, but I've been putting up some of the stuff too, of just stuff from the AKA, information on how to advocate with all the details and the links. And, the main thing to know is when it's for a specific city or state, you don't have to necessarily live there. It's better if it is a place where you reside, where you're a constituent of that. Let me take that off screen for a moment. If you're a constituent of the area that's under attack, that's always the best. They're going to listen to you because you can vote them out. So they're always going to listen to you more than anybody else. However, like we'll use Ohio as an example. We can all call, we can all email. We don't have to live there. Now, if they specifically don't want to hear from people that don't live in an area, it's usually specified, but you're allowed to. Plus, you can also say, like, what if you have family there? I know one of the things that Amanda Rayner has talked about here with us when she's joined us as a special guest here on the Kratom Gal, she's talked about how with some of these ban bills, not only are they happening in places where she lives, and she's in the Northeast, but when she's talked about, them wanting to ban it in California, she says she's from California. So she's like, I can't go home and see my family. Or when there was a ban bill in another place, she goes, I have family there. I have friends there that I go visit. I wouldn't be able to go see them anymore. Like, this affects me.
Yep. And the other thing I've been putting on school and trying to get it as streamlined as I can is the journalists or the news outlets that we can email and send emails to. And they usually like to have the ones in that same state too. Like, I got a reply from Salt Lake City Tribune, and they said they'd rather have people from their area. But the more letters they get that they have the truth, the better. So yeah, if you go over there, you can just copy paste the email addresses into your email, and it'll send them all to all the different places.
Yeah, I love this comment from Robin saying it's always best to show that special interest, a financial or like a family interest, like something where they should be interested in hearing. If you're not going to be spending your dollars in their community or their state, or you've got family there, that's great info. And you know what, Becca, you made a great point when you were talking about phone calls can be anxiety inducing, and so a good thing to know is that if you don't even want to like have that anxiety of somebody answering the phone, even an aide, because like when we're given information like, oh, call your congressperson, go call your U.S. senator, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like, they're going to answer the phone. No, it's just going to be an aide in their office. But what's a tip? Call in the evening or weekend. If you call in the evening or weekend, it will go to voicemail. You can leave a message. You can leave your voicemail. You're doubtful anybody's going to pick up in that person's office, wherever it is you're calling. So just a little tip, evening or weekend,
very good idea.
To kind of reduce the anxiety. So yeah. And just as a reminder, as Americans, we can call any of our legislators at any time and leave a message for any issue. And it can be at your local level, your state level, and your federal level.
Exactly.
So if you don't like how something's happening in our country and you're against it or you're for it, you can always call your reps and say, by the way, I'm a constituent. You just say, like, I live in whatever city. I'm your constituent. and just say, this is how I feel about this issue. You can always call and say, hey, I live in your district and I'm a Kratom consumer. I would like to educate you on Kratom. Let me tell you about it. Can I set up a call or a meeting? Can I come visit your office?
Yeah, a Zoom meeting. We've had the Zoom meetings.
You've done your Zooms with your reps, Venus. And
Mm-hmm.
our federal legislators, our federal House reps and senators, in addition to their office in DC, they'll have an office in your area. So when you have your House rep, I learned so much since being a Kratom consumer. I didn't pay much attention to politics before, but like when I went to DC twice to go advocate on Capitol Hill, along with other awesome advocates in the American Kratom Association, Venus was there with me this last April. I just showed up at my House reps DC office, but he also has an office in my city because he was elected from our city. So I just did it because I was there in DC, and it's like, and I did that both times I went to DC. I literally showed up in his office to do an impromptu to talk to whoever would listen to me, and both times. And I was even the first time I went is even in a documentary called The Mysteries of Kratom. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in The Mysteries of Kratom. When I went a few years ago, I was already going to be in this documentary in the film. I let the filmmaker, I knew he was in the Northeast. I said, did you know about this stuff going on Capitol Hill? A bunch of us advocates are going. So he went. And when I was trying to find where the House rep buildings were and go just show up in my House rep's office, he's like, can I follow you and film you? I'm like, sure, go ahead. So it's kind of comical, I find, because he's like, I'm just walking down the street, and he's following me, and then trying to find the office. And then I got to sit down and speak. They wouldn't let him film the part where I'm speaking with the aide, but he's got the before and after, and it's pretty cool. But I can also follow up with them here in my city. And you can do this also with your state level senators and House reps that are there. They're going to have one in your area as well as their one at your state capitol. There's so much we can do. I think the issue is not everybody knows you can do this. And I'm trying to figure out, how can we change that? How can we help all the everyday consumers? When I first found Kratom in 2019, I luckily discovered the American Kratom Association online. I found their website very early on in my Kratom journey, and I signed up to get their emails. And so I'm like, wow, this is I didn't know they're trying to ban it in this place. And then they would, say, here's a link, you can click here and share your testimony. I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know I could do that. But I didn't realize at first that it's okay if you didn't live in that location. At first I thought, oh, well, I don't live there, so I probably can't even do this. And so over time, I realized, oh, it doesn't matter where you live. Like anybody can advocate whenever something comes up. And it's just learning all those ins and outs.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like a hand guide or manual. We all just kind of learn from each other. And that's why I think it's so important that we talk about this. So hopefully somebody's watching this today, like, I didn't realize I could just be making these calls or filling out the form when they send out these, the link to this is a different state, but okay, I can share my testimony too. That's good to know.
Or even bringing it up at your own town hall meetings that they have. You can, even if it's not on there, educating them first.
Yes. Well, I love how you do that, Venus. You want them to already be aware of Kratom before it becomes an issue.
I love that.
Definitely.
My main thing is I want them to hear the story or hear Kratom and have a good response, a good memory, a good story that they're thinking of, and not grieving, the science.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
Deborah has phone anxiety. I think a lot of people have phone anxiety, and it's totally understandable. That's why I think calling after hours or weekends, just, calling at a time where they're probably not checking the calls coming in.
Talking to them in other ways, like sending emails or a
Yeah,
handwritten note.
absolutely.
Definitely. Like any other ways, there's always ways around it. And then if it becomes too overwhelming, because 2025 really was. There was one thing after another.
Oh,
And
last year was just it looks like this
it
year is going to be
was.
just as bad or worse. I love Robin saying we've always been willing to help people that have phone anxiety. That's so great.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are people like Robin in the community that'll help with people who have phone anxiety. But like I was saying, if it gets too overwhelming, you can also choose to do like every other one. And like maybe we could work as a team somehow to, you know, for those who are overwhelmed, because there is so much going on, to do something like that, to
Yeah.
like buddy up. And I don't know, I hope that we do more, we work together more this year around than we did last year, and we come up with an even better strategy, and you know, things
I would
go
love
well
that.
this
I would
year.
love to see that. I think if we all work together, so much can be accomplished. So,
Yes.
yeah, I would love to see that. I think there's like a whole group of us advocates that all see the importance of us all coming together, working together, and we need to just keep getting more of our fellow consumers on board to like, let's just make one big team here and let's all just get out there and get our voices heard.
Get
You
it
know,
done.
because
Yeah.
if we're not talking about this and sharing, you know, our testimony, they're just gonna keep trying to ban, and we can't let that happen. So, all right, so let me play one more clip from that, and then we'll wrap up. We've already been here for just about 2 hours now.
It always flies by.
I know. All right, we'll play this last clip on
Here's
here.
the takeaway. You call that number, you have 2 extensions to hit. First one is 0. Talk to the operator. They will answer the phone. The second extension is 3. Leave a voicemail. They won't answer the phone. They don't do their job. When you talk to that operator, the most important part is to be respectful. Don't come off sounding crazy. I know that things could get really dark if you lose this product for Ohio. It's going to send a lot of people into a bad spot. But reinforce the fact that Kr8tom gave you your life back, added value in whatever way it did. Tell them the trade that you're in. You don't need to give them all your personal details, but they need to know that you're an upstanding member of society, a potential donor to these politicians who put these laws forward. Be respectful. Be clear about what it is that you stand to lose if they continue with this progress and making Kr8tom illegal. Let them know that you're a trade person, you're a professional, you're a business person, whatever it is. Share your story, leave the voicemail, be cool, calm, and collected. Let's spam these guys and let them know that a large portion of the state's not going to sit by idly while they screw our lives up. As always, guys, I really appreciate you getting on this call. That was First Choice Kr8tom, and we got Kenny and Kurt. You guys are freaking rock stars. Is there anything that you want to add at the end of this about the fight for Ohio?
We all have a voice, and we have to use it. You know, we have to do what we can to overturn this decision.
If not, it will probably be gone for forever, kind of like other states.
I really appreciate you. I feel like I'm helping you and you're helping me. And that's what we got to do. All right.
Thank you.
You have a good one, man.
That was like really good. I'm glad that he made that video and helping to encourage people to get out and advocate. And we need more industry people like them, like the 3 of them talking about this. I know on the industry side, y'all have to be so careful what y'all say and what y'all do, but you can certainly talk about advocating.
I love how the responsible vendors are coming together behind the scenes and working on doing videos like that and coming out and just they get along so well. I just love it. It's like one big family too.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I think this is going to be our year for sure. Absolutely. What is this, Becca, you're talking about for a scheduled day?
Yeah, because remember we were talking about it last time or the time before about like scheduling a day that we all went on social media and just blasted
Yeah.
I'm Kr8tom hashtag and like our story or just like a short little thing about us. And
It's a great
what
idea.
if we did that soon? Like how soon could we do that? How soon could we round up people? Like maybe February, like Wednesday, February 4th, I think it was, that I saw on my calendar. Like, that would give us a couple of weeks, and just let everybody know that day that we're going to go on social media, at least on Twitter and wherever we can that we feel comfortable, and do the hashtag I am Kr8tom thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's
I
a
love
great
that
idea.
And
idea
then
too.
maybe we should tag Secretary Kennedy in it, or maybe a couple other people, or somebody
Yep.
from the FDA. And then, well,
Joe
if it's on
Rogan and
Twitter,
like
Yeah.
yes.
other
Yeah.
PAC supporters.
And
Yeah.
then put our hashtags according to, like, I am Kr8tom, or whatever you guys decide, but then get those few people in there too as we're doing it, and hopefully they would see it and at least take pause and say, maybe we should listen to these people as well, not just the negative side of it,
Mm-hmm.
because we have a lot of positive stories,
Yeah.
but
And
they don't
maybe-
ever want to hear those sides.
Maybe
That-
tag our local representatives,
Yep.
or do a separate one that's for the local representatives.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what we
Yeah.
need? The magic y'all had in 2016. We
I
need
saw that.
Chris Bell and Joe Rogan, because that helped the cause tremendously. Those two, because
Mhm.
you got Chris Bell, who made the amazing documentary, and I thought I'd heard like a year or two ago he was going
He
to
was
work
making
on.
another one.
I haven't
Another.
heard anything.
I
I haven't heard
heard
anything since.
yet.
But he's friends with Joe Rogan, and him getting on Rogan's podcast and getting that message out when they were trying to ban Kr8tom, that seemed very instrumental on helping the whole in the big picture of everything that was going on back then. But Robin's suggesting the 11th or 18th to give enough time. I think what you got to do is we got to get everybody together. We got to get the AKA and GKC, as many Kr8tom companies, and get everybody to be, with their email lists. If they're able to notify, you get the Kr8tom companies able to put it in their, a lot of them have their own like weekly newsletter, put it out to their people. You got the AKA and GKC with their list, and as many, so it can go out far and wide. It's a very doable thing.
Yeah, I think the 18th, because it would be after the excitement of Valentine's Day, and that takes up a lot of hashtagness.
Well, just something to keep in mind, and this goes back to my business background. So X is not big on hashtags anymore, just FYI. A whole hashtag thing started back on Twitter, and that was actually a big part of the work I used to do. I was known for teaching Twitter, and I branded multiple different hashtags back in the day. So Elon Musk does not like hashtags. So you can still use them, but anybody that uses X now, don't ever put more than one hashtag in a tweet, because he dislikes hashtags so much and doesn't want them anymore. Is that if you do more than one hashtag in a tweet, they will make the algorithm will make it so that your tweet just doesn't get out far and wide. Like that's how much he dislikes it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he's made it where the algorithm, downranks it even with one hashtag. So it's not what I totally get, because I'm was all about hashtags. I did a lot of stuff that involved hashtags. It was with my work. But the social media platforms, they just aren't into it anymore. I still like the idea that, because for just the branding and the name, everybody can identify, and it definitely brings back the whole OG Kr8tom, because that y'all did a movement with a hashtag, which was great.
Then how would we combine it together, like a hashtag would do, if we weren't using hashtags?
Yeah.
What are they using now?
Well, now with algorithms, it just picks up the words as keywords. So like the reason why the whole hashtag thing started a gazillion years ago is back in the early days of Twitter, it was the only way you could do a search. You couldn't do a search. And then they made it so that if you did the hashtag, you did as a hashtag, you did the little hash sign, the little pound sign, and whatever word or words together, that was the only way you could search back then. You couldn't just type in words to search for something. So it became part of this whole way to do a searchable thing. But then people like started like coming up with unique
Right.
hashtags, which was then people started branding them. And so it really became a whole movement of doing that. And I love that y'all had this branded hashtag y'all used back then, several of them. It's still good for just the visual of it, but just know putting the actual
And it's decent for me anyhow. I like a file system and to see who else is talking about that specific same topic. But yeah, I've heard that they're not really useful
Yeah, good to
anymore,
know.
but it's still a habit.
But you could, but see, what I
it's still
would
a
do,
habit.
I would still for the visual, like you don't like putting the hashtag in a
That's a good
tweet is
idea.
not going to help you much anymore. But the visual of it is what I think everybody from back in the old days will still remember y'all's
Right.
hashtags you use. So, so I would have it in the like the JPEGs, like the imagery, but not necessarily in the tweet, or just don't have more than one. Just use one in a tweet, just so that way it's not. And that's just a Twitter thing. The other social
Right.
media platforms never really embraced hashtags that much. I know you can still do them in Instagram and TikTok and all that, but like the Instagram CEO has come out and said hashtags don't do anything anymore. So people
Mhm.
still like to do it for the visual of it because we're so used to it, but it's not like back in the day, the hashtags were to help people find you, and it would bring, like, the algorithm worked in favor of it. It doesn't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just
Yet
even
on the
using
other hand,
using our stories,
sorry.
and that's okay. Just using our stories and getting more positive information out that day and that time would even be great. Just having Kratom out there with positive things, because there's a lot of bad out there on there.
Definitely.
Sorry, Twinkle.
Oh no, that's fine. I was going to say, on the other hand, with like the Facebook suite for the business pages or the pages, it literally comes up each time. It will have you with the option to automatically choose a hashtag according to what you're posting. So I don't even have to do that manually. It literally just slides across which one do I want to push. And then, so who knows, but that's right on the Facebook, right in there. So
Yeah.
I'll try to break my habit eventually.
Well, we all
My
got some like great
routine.
ideas today with all of this. This
Yeah,
is a great
definitely.
conversation. Great having some of the OG Kratom advocates hanging out with us today. We definitely
That's
need to
awesome.
get y'all up on screen with us sometime. We'd love to have y'all chat with us.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to say real quick, California is no longer designated for a Schedule 1 on 7.0, but it will move
Okay.
forward.
Yeah, I don't even know like what all happened. It's just been so many things to keep up with. So like you went to real quick, because you went to the state
Yeah,
capitol.
I went. It
This
was
week.
initially designated as a Schedule 1, but it is still moving through it. That language has been removed. So it may be a misdemeanor for an establishment to sell it, but that's one thing, a misdemeanor for them for sales or anything like that. I just didn't want the Schedule 1 because it wouldn't have been able to be researched, and I don't think people need to be criminals. I've never been a criminal in my life, never been in trouble in any way, so that I was not okay with, or anybody else similarly, that just having it would have been a felony.
Was
So
this
I
just
wasn't.
for 70H, or was this for natural kratom as well?
It was, this specific piece of it was for just 7.0, but it was slipped in a nitrous oxide bill as well.
Oh, okay.
So the whole thing was sort of like for both, to support both, but the bill itself and the language was to schedule the 7.0 for all of California. So that's not there right now. That's been removed.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
And y'all that were advocating for this, there was like a lot of y'all there in California.
yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of us.
I mean, y'all have really banded together to speak up and advocate for 70H. I mean, I know we hadn't seen a lot of that in the past, but also this, it's not like natural kratom has been around forever, and it seems like we get more and more advocates because so many people are consumers.
Right.
With 7.0, it's a newer thing.
Well, I think as time goes on, maybe there would even be more. And right now, I know several people who use 7.0 and just will not admit it, will not say, and I respect their privacy. So I would never tell who those people are, because it's the stigma. You know, you get blacklisted from half the community because you support 7.0 or not putting a Schedule 1 on it. Well, now you're the bad guy. And I'm both. I'm not out here dismissing the T for the 7.0 because they both add wellness to my life. You know, so but people are entitled to how they want to feel.
Well,
But
you're not a bad
I'm not going
guy.
to do that to another person, nor am I going to do that to somebody else. If somebody was out of line, over consuming, doing things they're not supposed to be doing, lying, stealing, trifling, or whatever people do, and I repeat that a lot, I know, that's a different type of person that already has problems going on.
Right.
That's not somebody that's just trying to help themselves with incurable, intractable, rare diseases that they're chronic illnesses that they're always going to have. And so
I'm proud of you for
benefiting,
going.
and I'm going to stand up for me
Yeah.
benefiting. So if somebody doesn't like that, well, that's okay. I'll pray for them. So, and I mean that wholeheartedly, not in a mean or negative way, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
We
to
know
other
that
people.
about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm glad you got out and
Thank
did what
you.
was right for you. And that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what anybody
Yep.
thinks or says. You did what was right for
Exactly.
you. And because of these products you consume, you were able to.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
both
Yep.
equally, almost equally, you know. So, and then my new life over here with my grandkids, you know, they keep me very busy. And then I'm, you know, pain is always on me, and that might hurt me a little more, but I'm also proud of it. I want to be able to do this. I don't want to lose another 10, 20, 25 years. This month will be 25 with only CRPS. I don't, you know, I was stale for almost a decade, and not counting the decade and a half prior to that, where I was darn near bedbound. So, you know, I'm happier. I feel better. I'm able to be here. I was able to go to that. I'm able to chase these babies.
You're doing great.
So,
What's the
thank
bill
you.
number? Robin's asking what's the bill number on that?
That was SB 758 Umberg.
Okay. 758 Umberg. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well, we've been here for over 2 hours. We're going to wrap up. I wanted to play one quick video short of mine. It's a two-parter. I added a blooper to it because because sometimes when you're making, when you make videos, there are times where you're going to mess up, and you just and I usually don't save my bloopers, but this one was so comical because I've been making a bunch of like TikTok video. I like to do those video replies and just respond to people's questions and comments and thoughts. And I'd been doing them for quite a while that day, and I guess I was getting worn out, and I did have like some funny bloopers, so I decided to add it at the end. But the overall message, me responding to this comment, was just a positive message about Kratom, that so many of us that also experience the positive things from this amazing plant. And so I'm very active over on TikTok, my Kratom Stories podcast on TikTok, and we have a lot of conversations going on over there. But I do run into censorship from time to time. And what I do is I take kind of like the best of those videos and I put some of them over onto my YouTube. So let me play this one because I thought it was just but it's a good message overall. But then it's just kind of funny with the bloopers because I can certainly laugh at myself. And this was kind of funny. And then we'll wrap up here. All right, this wins best comment of the day because this is incredible and what a testament to Kratom. So this comment comes from Mrs. JJ King, and she says, I have been taking Kratom for chronic pain for about a decade. I've never changed my dose, and I have never experienced withdrawal. I only take 1 teaspoon or 1.5. This is incredible. What an amazing testimony. More people need to see this because this is the thing about Kratom. So many of us have no negative side effects, no issues. We take the same amount. We're not having withdrawals. Nothing. We're having relief. We're able to enjoy life again. We're no longer suffering in pain like we used to. So I love these stories. Y'all keep posting these here because I'm going to keep sharing them. I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget, come over to kratomrealtalk.com. It's our private online community over on the school platform. It's just another place for us to hang out where there's no censorship because, sometimes we get in trouble here. And I like to have another place for us. Like, we're still here. I'm not saying don't come over here. I'm just saying we got this little hideaway over here. It's free to join. And it's just a nice little place where there's never going to be any censorship. And it's nice. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. We're having relief. We're able to enjoy life again because we're not suffering. We're not suffering. I can't make this up, can I? We're not. Now I feel like I'm going to keep messing up. I've been making a bunch of videos today. I think this is my sign I need to stop. We're no longer suffering in pain. I love how I just started talking to myself and like I'm making this video just like nobody's watching me. But I think I made so many of those that I was just doing like a whole bunch at once to have them all saved up in the drafts and ready to go at a later time. And I just kept messing up that one. And it was so funny. And then I'm talking to the camera like I have an audience. And when I was ready to put that video up, I was watching that and I go, I got to save that as a blooper. That's just so funny to put in as a blooper at the end. Because just a reminder, this is just real life. I mess up all the time when I make videos like that, and it's kind of funny, like seeing something like that. But the overall message was good. Like so many people comment about how they have no issues. They take the same amount of kratom for years, no tolerance. I'm the same way. I've been taking the same dose every day, multiple times a day for over 6 years. I've never needed, even though I mentioned earlier, I had major tolerance issues with pharmaceuticals. I've never run into that with natural leaf kratom. Ever. It's amazing.
Nope. Same. And I took a break. I think I might have mentioned it last time. I know I mentioned it to you gals a few times. Right prior to the move, I took a whole week break on the tea and I was fine. Nothing happened, or these, they roll it out as these severe withdrawals and all this, and there wasn't. So that doesn't mean if if somebody wasn't taking a lot more, they wouldn't have had them, but I was fine. We would be fine. I mean, tiny bit sluggish. That's it. But that's because we don't have it for the relief for what we're using it for. But
yeah, for sure.
It turned out fine. It turned out fine.
Absolutely. I hope Angela feels better. She says she's not feeling well. She's ill with a virus.
Oh, and how many people signed up for the challenge? Did more people want to do the 5-day challenge? Because I'm going to do that here. I know you're doing 30 days.
Yeah,
but I was going to do the 5. I thought I would try to do the 5.
I haven't started because I've been doing this self-imposed 30-day content challenge. Just part of my, it's not on my Kratom story stuff. It's all on my Madeline Sklar stuff. And through that process is like, because people are, I can see how the way people are commenting, like I can see they want to do like some kind of like challenge for themselves, especially with video.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, who would be interested in a 5-day video challenge? And so many people are like, I would do it. I've got people in the Kratom community said they'd do it, people in my other communities. So I haven't, I got to work on that and kind of figure out a date and stuff. It'd be
Were
fun
you
because-
looking it to be Kratom specific or
No.
anything?
It's for anything. It's for anything and everybody.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's just I have so many different communities because I've been building online communities since the mid-90s. And so I knew because I put it on all my regular Madeline Sklar social media, my little 30-day challenge, which really gets me out of my comfort zone because I normally don't put that much personal stuff on my business social media. But my Facebook is, I've always used my personal Facebook for kind of everything. And I don't do a lot of personal anyway, but it's where I just kind of do a little bit of everything. And because I've been on there a long time and I have so many friends from all my different communities, whenever I post something that really grabs people. It's interesting, all the different people. It was like how I know all these different people. And when I started mentioning I want, like, who would want to do a 5-day video challenge with me, quite a few people in our Kratom community, it was like, have been like on my Madeline Sklar TikTok and on my Facebook, have been like, I want to do that. And I think it will help some people get more involved in advocacy.
Oh, I agree.
Because so many times we just need a nudge. We just need that nudge.
Yep.
You know,
and having a group to do it with, like I
So-
keep saying, it always makes it easier.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going. Oh, Angela says she has COVID, strep, and flu. Oh my God.
Get better.
Angela, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. You know, Angela is one of our longtime supporters here. She always comes. She's here. There are times where I see her commenting before we've even gone live yet. It's
Yeah.
like I know, and you know, I love how like you're always here with us, and you stay the whole. So many of y'all stay the whole time.
Mhm.
We have such a great community here of fellow Kratom consumers.
Even when we were on for like 3 and 4 hours at a time, people would stay here the whole time or go and come back, and
we
just
used
so
to go
grateful.
longer. I finally
Mhm.
had to be like, okay, I think I kind of reached my limit after so many hours.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
go ahead.
if you get sick and you have barriers to healthcare and you can't access antibiotics, oil of oregano is a natural antibiotic, antioxidant, the whole shebang. And I use it as maintenance. I take it every couple weeks as just maintenance to have it in me. If I get sick or I know I'm going to be around somebody that has something, then I start taking it a couple days prior, and I'll continue a couple days after. It's an over-the-counter supplement. I also keep on hand burdock root, but just make sure that you research your interactions. I don't take any medications from doctors, so I'm safe with my, doing my check on it. But if anybody is taking something, like for an example, if you're on a blood thinner, don't take the oil of oregano, or speak to your pharmacist or your doctor, because it has blood thinning properties. But it's amazing for an OTC.
You know, we had a conversation on my TikTok recently where somebody was asking if it's okay to take Kratom when you have the flu, and a lot of people jumped in the comments and said
It's okay.
it helps them a lot when they're having the flu.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of times I don't even know that I'm really feeling sick or sick. I'll just have like a slight cough, and then as my Kratom wears off, I can feel like
Mhm.
oh, I actually have a cold. You know, I've caught something,
I
but I
believe
don't.
it makes a big difference for colds and flus. I know
Yeah.
we can't really say
does
that,
from-
but
yeah.
but for our personal experience, we can say that. And for me personally, it has always been helpful.
I
with
haven't
it.
even gotten really
Same.
sick with anything since I've
never
started
had
Kratom.
COVID.
I didn't
I've never
either.
had COVID, and I was taking the tea through the whole amount the whole time, and I had never even 7.0 wasn't even out yet. It was only the tea, and I believe in my heart that the tea as a whole, with all its alkaloids, also prevented me from getting COVID, because I also haven't been vaccinated. I didn't get any of those, and I've never had COVID. So
Yeah.
I believe it helped.
I think I mean everybody's different with this plant. I have not been super sick. I mean, I usually don't definitely since I started eating healthier a long time ago and turned to a vegetarian, I definitely saw the difference. Like I rarely ever got sick, but since Kratom, I don't get colds. I've not had the flu. Haven't had COVID. Not but I'm also not always in busy, you know, I work for myself and I work from home. So it's not like I'm around a lot of people all the time, but I feel like Kratom definitely for me, it's been next level because I don't even get like a cold. I don't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
nice.
like that's really helped with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is always fun. You know, everybody's just been so active in the chat today. Deborah, I'm so glad you joined us today. Deborah Chesney, she'll be on the podcast soon. I interviewed her for the Kratom Stories podcast. And I'm a Pip. Venus's mom is here.
That's why I was just getting ready
Hi,
to type.
Mom.
Hi,
I'm telling her
Mom.
most welcome right now.
She's like our biggest supporter. I love
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
She's the best.
I can't wait till she comes to testify with us at the hearings.
That is so awesome. And you just
That'll be
testified
amazing.
recently in New Jersey, right, Venus?
In Trenton, New Jersey. Yeah, I went with Chris, and it was one of those that you had to go up and sit and talk, and yeah, and I was scared to death, but
But
and
you did it.
my son went too. My 42-year-old son went. He was too nervous to talk, but he got to sign the paper saying that he opposed, what they were getting ready to do, or I can't remember what we were opposing or agreeing on that time, but he just signed the paper. So I just love that they're going with me,
That's awesome. Great having that your
Excellent.
family
Yes.
support like that. That's
Family
amazing.
affair.
Yeah, for
Yep,
sure.
exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right, I think today we'll close out with one of our favorite Kratom songs, Living the Kratom Life.
Yes.
It's like a living the Kratom life kind of day we're having today. So thank you all
Mhm.
again. We do this every Saturday. Come hang out with us next Saturday. If you're around tomorrow afternoon over at our Kratom Real Talk community, kratomrealtalk.com, come over there. We host a twice weekly casual hangout. It's like a Zoom, but it's private. It's in our school community.
Come as you are.
Yeah, it's just a hangout. Come
Mhm.
as you are. We're just hanging out, chatting about whatever.
Yep.
It's always cool. So if
Mhm.
anybody's
Yep.
around, we do that tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern for about an hour. Come hang with us. We'd love to see you there.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you,
all.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good
Yep.
to see you.
We
Appreciate y'all's
appreciate
time.
you.
We'll see you next
Much
time.
love.
Woke up today feeling light. Grab my blend, ready for flight. Green mango, it's my start. Red barley to calm my heart. From dawn to dusk, I'm feeling free. With every leaf from the kratom tree, I take my dose, I feel alive. Yeah, I'm living the kratom life. Oh, I'm living the kratom life so wild. Every day, I'm feeling revived. Castles packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. White flame when I need the drive. It's the power that makes me thrive. Mix it up, I found my way. Living the kratom life every day. From dawn to dusk, I'm feeling free. With every leaf from the kratom tree, I take my dose, I feel alive. Yeah, I'm living the kratom life. Oh, I'm living the kratom life so wild. Every day, I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. You already know. When the day is long, I feel the strain. I know that kratom eases the pain. So I take my blend and I rise. With herbal realm, I touch the skies. Oh, I'm living the kratom life so wild. Every day, I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. Yeah, I'm living the kratom life. Ooh, 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 ooh. When the day is long, I feel the strain. I know that kratom